right, everybody. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Jamal and Joe Show. I'm Jamal, and that's Joe. And thank you for joining us. It's another fabulous Saturday evening on planet Earth, and we're going to do our best to entertain you for the next little while. And who knows where we'll go. Sir, how are you?
Great. Happy New Year to you and everybody else.
Yeah, it's 2021, and yeah, it's a brand new year. I think with every new year springs a little bit of optimism. It's like spring training in baseball. Everybody's eligible to win, and nobody's lost yet. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to 2021. I don't really feel like 2020 ever really got off to a good start. So
Well, it's
maybe
a low bar
2020
to get over right now. So
it's a very low bar. You think about it, we everything went into shutdown like March of 2020.
I mean, we're coming up on a year of this stuff now. I mean, and this is the thought I've had more than once that if you could ask anybody in the country now, if you could take a magic time machine and only have to lock down for 3 months of a serious lockdown, and this would be dealt with, would you take it? And I bet most folks right now, if they could have the looking back machine, I bet they probably would, because 3 months seems like nothing right now, because this seems like, the way it is now.
There's still going to be those folks out there that are going to say locking them down is taking away their God-given constitutional rights, and they wouldn't do it. So
whatever. I mean, there's
I think 80%.
A lot of things, and I mean, we can not care about them like we not care about crazy shit that other people say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I remember when it was like March 13th. It was like my last day in the office. And, they told us take your monitor, take your docking station and it was supposed to be like a 3-week flatten the curve. They were like, take everything you need for 3 weeks to a month. And, then we'll be back. So, you don't need to pack up everything, but just, take things for 3 weeks to a month. Remember that whole flatten the curve thing?
I do. We're just so beyond that. And now there's like a whole new kind that's out that's supposed to be even more contagious.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that'll help.
Well, going back to your original question, yes, I think 85 to 90% of people would take a legit like March, April, May, and part of June, like shut down. And then, see what happens from there. But
that's the thing, of course, at the first, when this first kicked off, the idea of even shutting down for like 10 days was like blowing people's minds.
Right.
And I mean, for like a very brief moment, it seemed like there was actually air travel shut down. But that's obviously far, far in the past. So I don't know. I mean, again, I'm no expert, but all the movies that I've seen, I mean, we couldn't do it any worse than we've done it. So
I know.
And again, I know that I shouldn't learn everything from TV, but those were gosh darn almost fact-based movies. And I mean, it had like Dustin Hoffman in it. You have to.
Yeah, what movie was that? Outbreak? Was that Dustin Hoffman and
Cuba I believe that one was right with Rene Russo, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that was like her heyday. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was about the old Ebola, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, when where it ends with the fuel air bomb.
Yeah.
which is, speaking of fuel air bombs, that is the same type of bomb that ye old Nashville fellow had made, which is called, because it's amazing what you can learn on the internet, a hyperbaric bomb.
Hyperbaric bomb.
Sound really
Tell me about that. I'm not familiar.
I don't know. That's the end. But I don't think. Here's the thing. People go, oh, you have to be a technological genius to make one of those, or oh, everybody can make one of those. It's neither one of those things. I mean, I don't think you have to be a genius to make one of those, but I don't think everyday dumbass can make one of those either. You know,
Right.
here's the thing: making that kind of bomb is a very specific thing. That's not just like getting access to a gun and going shooting because you feel like shooting. If you want to make that, you got to really. They were saying he put some time into it, and folks made some calls and said, "Hey, there's a guy in his RV in his driveway, and that's kind of weird. And what's he up to?" And
He wasn't on the watch list, but his neighbors had reported him several times, right?
the alarm had been raised a few times, and for whatever reason, can't imagine why. Speculation abounds.
Yeah.
But anyway, hyperbaric bomb. That's what that guy built.
That's crazy. So I think I know the answer to this. Would you consider that guy a terrorist?
Yeah, I know that seems to be the big debate on the old interwebs right now is what defines a terrorist, which I guess before I open my big yap, shall we Google together?
Let's do that.
I'm
Let's Google this.
I'm gonna do it. I mean,
Okay, go ahead.
Here we go. Definition. As far as the federal regulations, and there is actually a CFR number 28. Anyway, the unlawful use of force and violence against persons or property to intimidate or coerce a government, the civilian population, or any segment thereof in furtherance of political or social objectives. So, God, sounds like terrorist to me.
Sounds like a terrorist to me.
And let's go over why I feel that way. Let's go over some of the boxes that this fellow put a big old check mark in. The unlawful use of force and violence.
Yes, check.
Against persons, no. He made a big point of that. And that is an interesting point in all of this. I mean, what a redeeming fellow, right? Because you're like, this feels like this should be an after school special because I feel like this fellow has almost a redeeming quality.
Because he tried to warn and get everybody away. He just wanted to destroy property.
Which is the next part of that sentence. Violence against persons, no, or property, yes. Two, and there has to be a reason. You can't just do it just because. There's always got to be a reason. And I don't know, has a manifesto been published for this guy? I don't know.
I don't think a manifesto has been published, but I did read on the old internet that he had some significant hesitations about 5G, and he potentially could have been trying to destroy something that was going to propagate the 5G network.
Okay, so then furthering along in our box checking, because so far he's checked every one. To intimidate or coerce a government, maybe there's a check mark there. The civilian population, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, because even though you didn't try to kill anybody, or you specifically seem not to, lighting off bombs in cities.
In the downtown of a city, not just in cities, in the downtown.
Yes, but you know what? Even for us out here in the burbs, we don't like bombs going off either.
No. Bombs are not good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that we be the civilian population or any segment thereof, we qualify as that, or sort of those folks in downtown Knoxville. In furtherance of political, not necessarily, or here's the social objectives.
There it is.
Want. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that fellow qualifies as a terrorist.
I agree. Domestic terrorism.
Well, and while what's interesting, because I mean everybody was just salivating at the idea that he had some kind of political motive, that there would be some kind of hat or banner or something that would make everybody go, aha. to the other side and
Mm-hmm.
say, see how crazy you are, and what a false flag opportunity this was. I mean, and I guess you know what? Kudos. Here's to the stand up to didn't-ness of the law enforcement community, that there has not been, or they really went out of their way to cover any markings of, a
Right.
political leaning of in any of this.
Well, now that you mentioned that, let's think back to other acts of domestic terrorism.
Okay.
Timothy McVeigh,
That's the first one I thought of.
right? Sandy Hook,
Okay,
Las
yeah. I mean,
Vegas,
those definitely all count.
right? What was the dude in Waco, Texas? What was that guy's name?
Well, see, now he was religious.
Yes.
So does that count as social or political or something else entirely? Because if
Okay.
it's religious, see, because not only do you get away with taxes, you get away with doing this kind of shit
Yeah.
because you're not because you're religious.
So let's scratch him off the list for a second. Let's just take those others.
David Koresh.
David Koresh. Okay. So just follow me for a second. So after there's been a significant tragedy in the United States, what normally happens?
A restriction of rights.
Yes. But before that, usually whoever's in charge, forget about the political party, who's ever in charge usually comes out with a flag background.
Oh, and like a national tragedy, and says, okay, some bad shit happened and we feel bad.
Says a few words,
right?
Thoughts and prayers,
right?
Whatever it might be.
So are you about to? I can't believe that our president, maybe, and correct me if I'm about to err here, he didn't give a thought and a prayer.
He went golfing.
That's kind of like a thought and a prayer.
Not even a tweet about it. Definitely not a speech. Which raises a question of why. I'm not saying he's involved, but I'm just saying,
that's a little interesting. I mean, like, because it seems like he doesn't miss an opportunity to turn any event into some kind of spin to go, oh, the Antifa did this or whatever.
I think he's just so narcissistically involved with himself right now, and he's halfway out the door. I mean, I don't care to hear from the guy, but he is the president of the United States. And had anybody else in the history, in the media era, this had happened, the president would have come out and given some type of 3 to 5 minute speech about and what happened.
So it's doubly shocking that he didn't give a consolation speech to the nation. That you almost expect because he's just kind of an ass, but you expect him to at least walk out there and go, "That's terrible," and then watch us drive.
Right.
But to not even do that, but then for me, what would seem even more up his alley, and what would seem more normal for him would be to bust out some sweet tweets of, this is somehow the Antifa or the Democrats did this or whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And even if it wasn't, I mean, of course, if it wasn't true, but for whatever reason, like you say, he's been completely quiet on that. And that kind of shocks me a little bit. It seems like this is like one that he could use to his advantage, perceived advantage, to rile up his base in any ways, which there's several examples of that going on right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, but they're all like senators and shit doing it, which is unfortunate because it was supposed to just be like wackos on the internet. And now it's like congressmen and stuff. So I don't know what we got to get past the 6th. Is that the next big date to get by to make sure that everything's still on track for the 20th?
Biden's got to win like a 9th time. Like he's won like 15 times. He's going to win 16 times.
I mean, because like literally there's a story today from, God dang it. Now I'm going to have to find it. And I'm pretty sure it's an elected official. that the president is quoting, who is again, calling for, roll tanks on, on DC. Uh,
Right.
and you're like, oh, okay, that seems weird. Um, I mean, how is that even a conversation that's happening? So, okay, here we go. I actually found it as I was stall talking. Um, God darn it, show me who it was.
Is it Marco Rubio?
No, and I heard about that one too. But see, they're all getting on the same shit train. Um, lame. Anyway, it seems, and the theory I hear behind it is that they all know that it's a failed attempt to do anything.
Right. Are they
However,
are they trying to satisfy their base
that's all
and
it is.
satisfy the
Satisfy
president?
the wackos. Here,
Right.
I'm sending you something.
Yeah.
And
So
you,
they can say for 4 years, hey, we tried to stop this.
and
Don't blame us.
that's all it is. That
Yeah.
you're 100% all over it.
Yep.
But it's just wild that, again, this is the whole idea of why this is also bad, Twitter and everything else, because it's, hey, I'm not saying it, it's this guy over here saying it, but I'll
Right.
just retweet it.
Right.
So
No,
dumb.
or I'm
Um,
it's not this is not my position. This is what my constituents are saying, and I'm taking it up for my constituents, and they
and it's
want me
just
to
some,
do
I
this.
mean, and oh my God. I mean, it's crazy. So I don't know, that the scope of that is just nuts. I mean, the possibilities for, obviously, for bots, be it whomever they are, to just some random wacko, and you're following the advice of some random wacko. That doesn't seem good either. I mean,
Yeah.
all of this happens through Twitter, and again, like we talked about, you know, I don't think that necessarily everything has to be American owned, but I don't think that you can be naive to say if something like Twitter is not American owned, that it has anything close to American interests in mind.
Right.
And people seem to think, oh, it's just like this free speech platform. Shut up. No, it's not. It's a private company special. It's like playing video games together or some shit. I mean, it's all just a service that everybody seems to have adopted as like the general way of communicating,
Right.
which again kind of still blows my mind. And I get that what Twitter has some serious positive benefits as far as, like, to me, like on the ground news coverage by people that are not from CBS or any other accredited news agency, but they're actually, especially like through all the riots of this and the protests of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, there was so much coverage of people out there, like I say, on the ground,
Right. You
following the
got a chance
story.
to see people going live with
Yeah,
what was really going on versus what some editor in the truck was going to cut up and show you for the 5 o'clock news.
and that's
You
my
got a chance. You got a chance to actually see it, like through the camera. Somebody shooting what's actually happening. So
and that's beautiful and that's wild and that's a good thing about Twitter. But boy, there's a lot of the downside going on there. That's like, man, we gotta
well,
get a hold of
I
this.
think you're going to have that with any kind of platform, regardless of what it is.
But
There's
I mean,
going to
so
be
but we've regulated industry before, yes.
right. No, no, no. Hey, here's the thing. I differ with you on, and I guess that's good for the show. But I differ with you on abolishing social media. I'm a big fan of social media. I use
Regulate
social
social
media.
media. I want to make that clear. I want to regulate social media, but abolish Facebook. It can burn and go away because it's shown to be a corrupt organization, and so fine, get rid of it. I'm not saying get rid of social media. That's crazy. That's never going away. I'm saying that company can go away, everybody can hit refresh and get a brand new web page on a new service that springs up in its place and regulate that thing a little better than we ever did with Facebook. That's all I'm saying.
And see, I disagree. Uh, I guess I tend to look at things a little bit differently. I don't have a big personal issue with Facebook because I tend to regulate what I look at kind of carefully. And there's a lot of people that I know that at one point I consider friends that I just am not friends with on any media because I don't go to Facebook to get my news. I go to Facebook to see.
A lot of folks do.
Like I know. A lot of people do. I get that. No, I do. I get
regulation there. You know,
so I'm all for regulation, but I mean, it goes back to what you said that a few weeks ago that stupid people are easy to control, and
I should say uneducated people.
Okay, same thing. No.
It's not. And I
undereducated people.
Yes.
Undereducated people.
I think the more educated you are, and especially after high school, the way American high school is set up, I don't know how it is anywhere else, but how American high school is set up, there is no emphasis on learn to think critical thinking at all. Right. It's just memorize stuff and barf it back out. And repetition of things, and that's all it is. And I being the amount of benefit that I believe a person gets from just a couple of years of college, especially if they're some courses like psychology, sociology kind of classes that kind of teach you about thinking and how that interacts with everybody else and how everybody else is thinking and what motivates them and how that all works together and cuckoo and can we all get along? Or, maybe you take math, whatever. But I believe that just helps you view the world, even if you stop right there, or if you keep going, it just helps you view the world with a more critical eye. And not that you have to be suspect of everything, but you take a little more convincing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I know a lot of people who will see something on Facebook and share it, and it is clearly false. And there are people who I have said I respected them I think everybody has personal responsibility before you hit that share button to kind of take a look and see, does this meet does this meet muster? And all I can think is the people who've done that have checked it out and know it's false and shared it anyway. Because in 2021, that's not an excuse that I didn't know that it wasn't a real story. At that point, I'm unfriending you and I'm done.
So I guess that's my question is it articles and stuff, or is it sharing dank memes that are just funny and
memes are one thing. Memes are one thing. But I mean, during this whole election thing that really shouldn't happen because it was a clear winner, there's people that are sharing things that are where did you come up with this? That's clearly not in the Constitution. That's clearly not even true. And it's we've got
that's not good. And that how is that not regulated? Oh, well, it's not a free speech thing because it's a private company and they can just
but here's the thing. But here's the thing. That's not, I honestly don't believe that's a Facebook issue because the original author wrote that on their own specific website and somebody shared it on Facebook. So I don't think you can blame
Facebook's that's the whole problem with Facebook is that, I mean, they're like, oh, we can't have any responsibility for all the horrible content that we're completely providing to everybody. But it's not ours. We're not generating any of it, which I believe is that whole whatever the Rule 230 that is supposed to be up for was part of the whole
defense bill.
Right. And that was holding social media companies liable, right? Is that accurate? I don't know if that's 100%
Well,
accurate.
let me ask you this. Would you then blame Google if, let's say, Facebook was gone and that same article, somebody shared it and emailed it to everybody in their contacts on Gmail? Would you blame Google for that? Because that's essentially the same thing.
Is it? Because I mean, that's not the same interface. And again, I'm ignorant of exactly how Facebook works because I just am. But is it not more? It's a way different interface than I got an email from somebody with some stuff. Because you're like, okay, I got this from whatever. It's an email. Boom. I click on the email and it's a big shit sandwich. Whereas if I go on my friend Margie's page and Margie's got a ton of crazy stuff that is like, I mean, so you're saying there's no difference between just getting an email?
No. I'm not saying there's no different. I'm just saying that would you hold Google any more or less responsible for that content that's shared throughout their Gmail platform?
Why would I when I wouldn't share anybody? I wouldn't share the U.S. mail responsible or hold them responsible if they delivered a piece of mail from me to you of my crazy content. I wouldn't hold the post office responsible for delivering it to you? It's a different, that is a different format. It's all a format. It's all about format. And Facebook is their entire format. Granted, they broke new ground in doing so, and it was successful, and it is really cool and neat, but it's been abused.
So how would you regulate? So this is what I have a hard time wrapping my head around. So 99, 98, whatever, 90% of the misinformation out there is not put out by Facebook. It's put out by the users of Facebook.
I get that.
So how would you hold Facebook? So like right now, let's say I had some wild conspiracy theory and I've got 10,000 friends on my Facebook page and I put it on my page and 3,200 of my friends see it and 1,500 of them share it and it ends up getting shared 100,000 times.
Right.
How is that Facebook's? Why is Facebook responsible for what I did? For allowing me to do it? That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Before I get to answer, can I ask you, why are they not?
Why are they not
responsible for? So, because you seem to be of the opinion that they're not responsible for anything.
No, I'm not saying they're responsible.
So you say that there is a line somewhere that you draw that says that they're responsible somehow for the content that they offer. Where do you draw that line then? Because you're drawing it in a different place than I am.
So this is where I'm going with it. I think that they should have some type of oversight on their site, and maybe they do. I've heard of plenty of people going to Facebook jail for 30 days. But I think they should enact a slow mode where if you are a known person to promote misinformation, anything you post gets a slow mode, and somebody, a human, has to physically check it before it's allowed to go on your page.
So who's that human? Facebook employee or government person?
I don't think it should be the government. I definitely don't think it should be the government, because think about it this way. If it was the government over the last 4 years, a lot of the stuff that I post and other people post, the government would not let me post it. The government would not have let us do this podcast if they were listening to it.
Again, no, I mean, but the government regulates TV, right?
Right.
The government doesn't regulate Facebook in any way, shape, or form.
And they should.
Is that accurate? I mean, I just want to make sure I'm accurate in saying that.
You know, I don't.
I mean, like, you can fly straight, like, any flag you want. You can talk any crazy shit you want. You can have any crazy shit you want on Facebook. I'm asking straight up. I do not know.
No. They do have standards because if you do post, for example, my friend posted a picture, a meme that was very disparaging to our current president, and he got kicked off Facebook for 30 days for posting the meme.
Right. So they have standards, as you say, that are regulated by themselves.
Right.
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 Again, so I still am unclear as to whether or not the federal government has any regulation at all on anything that Facebook does.
I don't know, but so let me ask you this: so if Facebook
just
had the same regulations that the news stations have, how would that change anything?
Well, I don't think that, and that's a great, and that right there is, I think, a key point because, I mean, Fox News Entertainment Company gets
that was going to be my next point.
The news, and again, but I think they should be regulated too.
They are regulated. That's the thing. They're regulated by the FCC.
I think they should be regulated further than a one-line disclaimer in fine print that nobody reads that says we're an entertainment company. Because, I mean, all they are is, I mean, they're the Daily Show, but they're not funny.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's all they are. And so I don't know. I don't see how much any of this, I mean, we regulate certain things, but yet we have just absolutely just free reign of these other platforms.
Well, let me ask you this.
Well, that seems fine.
Let me ask you this.
That seems strange.
So I am a board member for the public access television studio in my city. And public access is regulated, but not as much as your local NBC, CBS, Fox, ABC station. Right?
It's a stag show, right?
Absolutely. So what is the difference there? Because if you watch public access, you are going to see a lot of stuff that you would theoretically see on Facebook, but it's not regulated. So I'm trying to figure out what the difference is.
But in a way, it was regulated. It was regulated certain times of the day, certain channels that you could view it on. I mean, that's kind of regulated. At least back in the day, I mean, it was a very small window of time that you could even try to see that. And if you missed it, I mean, it wasn't like it was on later.
Well, but see now with DVRs.
No, I mean, with the new landscape, yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. There seems to be like no effort to evolve with the times to try to keep up with. I mean, again, keeping in mind, I grew up in the video game area, loving video games and being told, oh my God, they're going to make everybody more violent and this and that, and laughing at that while I did, the next spine rip move, and everybody was losing their mind back then. And I was like, what the heck? Why are you so uptight? I mean, just let it rip. It's all fine. I mean, this is just, we can all tell it's video content versus reality, even, okay, fine. But even that line's being blurred. I mean, everything on Facebook is nothing but parody of reality. And can you tell the difference? And unless you know the source that it's coming from, and like you said, nobody gives a shit to check, then, I mean, you're literally watching fake news. And there's no regulation on that.
But I get you. But I think the thing you're missing is Instagram, Twitter, all of them. The only thing that's different between Twitter and Facebook is Facebook has pictures and videos and a better layout. Twitter is essentially, here's the deal. Twitter is actually worse than Facebook because with Facebook, you have to sign up with your real name and your address and your phone number and your picture. You've
I've
got to
always thought that
like,
was crazy that people give that out there. The
right.
whole thing blows
But
my mind.
here's the deal. I could start a Twitter account right now. I could go on Gmail and I could come up with the Gmail address, big time troll 123. And then I
Sure.
could go on Twitter and I could create a Twitter profile and I could start tweeting out anything I want. And there is nothing that ties that back to me. It's to a complete burner email and burner Twitter. And I could spew out hatred and this and that.
Are you saying there's no such thing as burner Facebook accounts?
There absolutely is burner Facebook accounts. But what
Okay.
I'm saying is the people that are spouting this misinformation are real people who think it's true.
I
Right?
know. And I'm not saying that this problem is limited to just the Facebook platform. I mean, I'm just saying
Right.
they're kind of the biggest propagators of it.
I don't know if that's true. I honestly think Twitter, I'm on Twitter.
Okay, I mean, it's a toss up between two. I mean, okay, it's a toss up between them. But my point is the same to both of them. I mean, they both are just, I mean, they're free reign in bullshit, and there's zero trying to put a cap on it, and there's zero trying to try to parse out the bullshit. It's just you're going to get it full tilt. They get to say, "Oh, well, it's not our content; it's just our users' content," and as long as it's not literally somebody getting shot and killed or something horrible or whatever that violates our strict terms of policy, then hey, it's all good. And we bear and we hold no responsibility other than our responsibility is to just get this content out there to everybody. How would everybody sees this crazy shit.
How would you regulate social media then? What would you do? What would be your solution?
How do you put the genie back in the bottle? I mean,
I don't know if you can put the genie back in the bottle, but since the genie's out, how would you regulate
it? Here's my first start. So you scrap, because again, it's not like we've never burned down a corporation before in this company, right? If a corporation gets out of hand, fucks up, violates laws, they get shut down. That has happened in this country before. So if that happened again, and we say start it over, I mean, something else will spring up instantly, of course, for people to start up again.
Something already has, and it's worse.
Then, you know, I mean, whatever. I mean, there's always going to be some need for the nastiest. And again, do you make any effort to control that, or do you just let that run riot too? I mean,
the people that are leaving Facebook and going to the conservative Facebook, the Parler site, I mean, I've looked at it. It is wide open, but it's like it's
and I don't endorse those platforms either. I mean, or the idea of those platforms. I don't believe that is in accordance with free speech. I believe that so much of all of this, if it doesn't fall into hate speech, which I'm sure most of that does, the outright just falsehoods. I mean, just the outright bullshit on Facebook. I mean, and how much, none of it is parsed out. None of it, right? I mean, it's just full tilt hose of anybody makes some crazy ass video, and it doesn't matter. It could be fake and full of shit. It does not matter. It's all good. And I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with that being just a blatant fire hose to everybody, because we have shown, I'm sorry, humanity's shown we can't handle it. So right. It's time to. So
let me ask you this.
I'm just saying, because it kind of seems like this sense of entitlement that some folks have, like, well, we have this thing, we must always have. No, we've shown, and frankly, you all have shown, because I don't partake in that bullshit, but people have shown they can't handle these things. So you know what? Fine, time to take the toys away from the kids for a little bit. And I think people need to cool the fuck out.
So if you were hired to regulate it, how would you regulate it?
I would start sternly. You know, because fine, we've shown that we need to be treated like children, so fine.
So would you?
Daddy's gonna come home. Daddy's gonna shut this shit down.
So
and then we're gonna start up a new one. Whoever starts that up, whatever's a big, whoever, I don't care. And I mean, and there's gonna and put the clamps on it.
So would you restrict individual people? Would you restrict individual people from posting what they want?
Fine. I mean, you put some kind of rules in place. And if you want to say, "Oh my God, free speech," fine. Bring me free speech. Let's talk about it. I'm all ears. But we've shown that we can't behave. I'm not part of this we. You all have shown that Facebook can't exist without being a detriment to society. Nobody can look me in the eyeball and say that the earth is better off because Facebook is here. I cannot ever believe that. And because I don't, then fine. I feel like Facebook and Twitter, while there are some benefits with Twitter, like I said, that kind of on the ground, that can be had with YouTube. And YouTube does not have the same kind of platform bullshit like those two outfits do. So fine. The world existed before those places were before those things happened.
The only difference there, I think, is YouTube is a little harder.
The what?
YouTube is a little harder.
Harder? What is that? And
it's not as easy to get your content on YouTube out to the masses as it is with the other one. There's a barrier,
and I think and that's a good thing.
There's a barrier to entry.
Filter that needs to be on this. All this horseshit is what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying. There's no filter on the bullshit hose right now, and we're all just getting flooded with bullshit. And I think
that's what I said. I said I think there needs to be a slow mode. Let's go video games, right? There needs to be a slow mode on what people are posting, and there needs to be an oversight.
Who are your regulators? Who are your regulators? You're gonna have robots, algorithms checking shit? I mean, okay, cool. Then the AI is gonna be making sure that we're all okay. You know what? I still vote for my way, but I'll hear your way out. So.
Well, here's the deal. Let's say they shut it down. So I think you're missing a key component there, right? I think the key component you're missing is people, because let's say you shut Facebook down and you start something new. How are you going to stop individual people from posting what they want to post?
I suppose in a way it would probably be easier on Facebook since it's already so well established. I mean, dude, I'm not a computer person, but if they can write algorithms for whether or not I want beef jerky today, then they can write algorithms to spot some of this other bullshit.
I got you. I'm with you.
And put a clamp on it.
So let me ask you this. Let me give you a real world example, and you tell me. Let's kind of solution this together. Let's say I am number one fanboy of Alex Jones. Everything he says, I believe it to a T. So Alex Jones has got a website, a very prominent website, millions of hits per day, and he writes articles 3 or 4 times a week.
No, he should be like nuked from orbit. I mean,
right? Well,
he should be thrown into the sun. I mean, honestly,
right. I'm with you.
I'm just saying, because your whole point hinges on, just in this example, on Alex Jones. That dude, to me, violates the law.
Yes, he does violate the law. So follow me on this.
He shouldn't be allowed to be on any platform.
So right now, Alex Jones is pretty much blocked on all platforms. However, his content is not, right? So
that seems like a flaw.
Well, I can go to Alex Jones' website and I can screen capture his article and I can go paste that into,
and then you can go puke it out a million times.
Right.
So
here's my point.
His content then.
So here's my point. Let's say we start up a new social media. How do you stop me from propagating his stuff on this new social media? Let's say Facebook burns to the ground. We start a new one. Alex Jones writes an article. I'm sorry, like, oh my. I mean,
dude, I spend way too much time spinning on my phone. I could do that. Pay me some money to do that. You pay me some money to go find all the bullshit and shut it down and give me the button to shut it down. and you pay me money to do that, you don't think I could pull that off? Come on, man.
Right.
I'm just saying, you could easily, I mean, if I had to sit through some bullshit commercial from the Army, and this time it's not soldiers running around with guns and planes and tanks. This time it's a bunch of high-tech soldiers sitting behind a bunch of lappers in a dark room looking all high-tech because they're high-tech cybersmithing it. And our entire country still gets hacked to the fucking bone. I mean,
so is your solution
if
private industry or is it government?
Oh, a little bit of both. I mean, again, I'm a fan of regulation. I'm a fan of, we have all these fine lawmaking folks in Congress and stuff that I mean, I thought that's what they like to do, write laws on stuff, regulate stuff. Turns out they all get paid by these guys. So I don't think it's in their best interest to regulate any of these people. They don't want to. They all take, I mean.
So then who does the regulation?
There is none. That's my point. There is no.
No. I'm saying future state. Who does the regulation?
What if Joe has all his wishes?
Is it private industry?
I mean, FCC. I mean, it's a communication platform. FCC does the same thing with TV. Why wouldn't they do the same thing with the internet?
And here's the deal. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not at all opposed to that. I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I think the internet should have been regulated 15 or 20 years ago.
I mean, in a way it already is, because you can't post crazy shit, right? I mean, you will get taken down if you post, even on your own website, you can't post crazy shit, right?
That's correct.
I assume.
That is correct.
I assume people try to push up to that line all the time.
Yes.
But so it is regulated already. And my point is, do it some more.
So I guess, I'm in a position right now where I'm defending Facebook, but I think this is a good debate. But I don't think that they are given a free pass, but at the same time, I'm having a hard time with your argument because 99% of things you see on Facebook are generated by the users.
Yes.
Right? So you're vilifying Facebook as an entity, which they steal our data, they use our data, and they sell it.
No, you don't. They don't steal shit. You give it to them.
We give it to them. No,
hey, my fault.
I get all that.
They don't steal shit.
Right. No, I get all that. But the misinformation that's being spread is being spread by the users, not by the platform. So Facebook. I'm having a.
But you're leaving off the end of that sentence. It's being spread by the users of Facebook.
But the same thing of Twitter and the same thing of Instagram.
If you took away those platforms, those people, yes, they still have the internet, and yes, they will still build something new, but no, they still don't have the same platform they just did. I mean, that is, again, part of the problem with those platforms is they are so huge that where if you're on them, anybody has the megaphone, and that megaphone blasts to the world, and it makes anybody that has a great idea able to get their great idea out there, and that's great. So if it's only great ideas out there, then let's allow all the only great ideas. Unfortunately, there's people that propagate other bad ideas. And again, I don't think I'm really offering anything radical here, because we already regulate them. We already do it. We've already established we regulate both the internet and Facebook, because you can't just put anything. You can't. So all I'm advocating is to step that up a bit more than what's already there. That's not that radical. That's not that extreme.
No. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. We're on the same page there. But now I want to take the next step, and I want to know, how are you going to regulate the individual user? Right. So is your regulation
they all have to abide by terms of service, right?
And then if they don't, then you ban them.
Service are don't say anything that we personally just don't like here at Facebook. And maybe a couple things that the Fed say you can't say. And all I'm saying is you broaden that a bit. You know, I mean,
okay. All right. So follow me here. So if you had a top 5 things of, let's say you are in the room and you're on the committee that's regulating Facebook, right?
I bet people get more time to think about this than I'm going to get to come up with these ideas. But
no. But I mean, you're very passionate about it, or
I love it.
Maybe a top 2 or 3. So you want to shut it down? You want to go back in time and kind of shut it down and do something new? So obviously, so my point is, I'm sure you've thought about 2 or 3 things that just really makes you upset about the platform. What are the 2 or 3 things that are currently being posted that you would like to see not posted anymore?
Okay, and first of all, I'd say it's not going back in time. I would offer that it's actually continuing to go forward in time, realizing that the current space and time is not okay. And while the idea, I'm open to a couple of different ideas, whether it be expanding existing rules and laws that must already be established because they already have to abide by some level of federal decency. I don't know, whatever the hell it is.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is to tighten, to enhance those further with the existing platforms, or scrap those and something else will start over anyway. So in a way, it seems, as much as I would like to scrap them, but something else is coming back anyway, and you're just going to have to deal with that in the same way. So you have the rules in place already, whatever they are today, which I didn't look up what the rules of the internet are, but there are some, and I'm saying there can be some more. Let
me tell you this. So I know the answer to this question is no. So after the election, Donald Trump Jr. made a big push for conservative people to leave Facebook and go to Parler. Now, I know you've heard of Parler, but I'm sure you probably haven't ever seen Parler or been on Parler.
No, correct.
For whatever reason, I'm on Parler's mailing list. So I get an email. Yes, I get an email from them once a week with what's going on Parler.
I'm glad you like to stay in touch.
And I don't know how I got on this list.
Oh shit!
But if Facebook makes you upset,
dude, I'm sure that's just nothing but garbage, and I don't feel that it should even be in existence. I mean,
right. However, and this is 100% unchecked, because before they will allow you to be on their platform, they kind of vet you and check you out.
Yeah, but again, you have to give them your ID or whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't sign up.
That whole thing is not just the FBI. I mean,
right?
Holy shit!
I haven't signed up for a Parler account, but if they think you are at all a troll or a spy or anything, they won't let you on their platform, right? You've got to be dying the wool, OAN, Newsmax, Fox News, blah 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 blah.
So I assume you didn't go in with the handle Jamal.
That probably would have got me kicked out and banned, from one. So
where'd you go? Did you go with North Carolina, son? Or
no. I just clicked on the link and it just took me to the homepage where they kind of talked about what they're about.
Oh, okay. And so I wasn't sure if you were a member.
No way.
I mean, you want to go.
I wouldn't pass their check.
I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to fool it. I mean,
exactly. I could.
Come on. Are you telling me the man who got himself a fine geo tracker via questionable means couldn't finagle his way to a proper Parler account, I say that's just unbelievable.
Some of us grow and evolve. And
I would say you could use my picture because I'm sure it would probably get you right in, but
I mean, if you think that Facebook is spewing out some garbage, you should see some of the stuff on this site.
No, and that's what I'm saying is that, again, there is obviously some regulation of Facebook. There's obviously no regulation of that place.
Well, here's the thing. This is why
that's not good.
This is why when you say abolish Facebook and other people say abolish Facebook, I don't like it. And I disagree because I think what will pop up will be extremely worse than what.
Well, by the way, I mean, I would like to, make sure that the entirety of my position there is not just abolish Facebook, but then regulate whatever's coming. Because it's not like you just go boom, blow up Facebook and go, oh, well, problem solved. Of course not. I mean, that's ridiculous. Who would think that?
Well, because what's happening now is these little satellite sites are popping up right and left, and ones that I don't even know about.
I mean, nobody's regulating shit all. Right. So, yeah, I mean, again, if anybody was regulating anything, then I wouldn't be having any problem at all. I'm pretty sure. I mean, unless I guess I'd start going, man, they sure are regulating like everything now, and you can't even say shit,
right?
Then suddenly that would be a problem. But I feel like we're too far in the other direction right now where, like I said, I mean, that there's other sites even able to pop up and openly advertise. Like the goddamn president's son advertises for them. I'm like, wow, that seems like that's normal. Okay. I mean, because remember like when Obama's daughters were like, talking about Farrakhan and how you should go join. Fuck, I mean, Farrakhan isn't even a good example. I don't think that's, right? He's not a good example with those guys. He could be, maybe he has some questionable views I've read, maybe a few. I'm just saying.
Farrakhan's on the fringes. He's on the fringes.
Are you going to make me look up some quotes from Farrakhan?
No. Because here's the deal. He is on the fringes,
yes,
and he says stuff that makes me very uncomfortable. Just like some other people said stuff that makes me very uncomfortable. I am not a fringe guy. I don't believe that all white people are trying to kill me. I don't know. I'm not that guy. I mean, Farrakhan has said some stuff that I'm kind of like, ooh, boy. Just like Alex Jones has said some stuff that's kind of like, ooh. But I mean, there's people that are going to be on the outside of the box. And
so what do you do with that then? Do you just let them rail and let all their websites grow and let their microphone get and their bullhorn get louder and bigger and huger and just go, that's cool?
Well, okay, so let's look at it from a historical perspective. And let's look at it from what the United States of America is. I think it would be far worse to censor those people than to try to educate people on what they're saying. Imagine if Donald Trump, January 21st, that car's back. That car's out there. I don't know if you can hear it. It's out there revving its engine.
I approve. I can't hear it, but I say good for that person.
But just think of it this way. Just think if all of a sudden everybody banned Donald Trump from what he was saying. People who don't like him would be like, great. But people who do like him would probably revolt. Same thing with Farrakhan. Farrakhan's got a lot of followers, the Nation of Islam. And whether I agree with the Nation of Islam or not, he's got a lot of followers. And I guess this goes back to what you were saying. At what point do you stop somebody from saying something, right? At what point, right? Farrakhan is not a fan of Jewish people, right? He has made that clear over the years. I don't share his views on that. I don't hold ill will against any race of people.
That's what
I
I'm saying.
don't.
And so
You know,
at that point,
I don't think
hey,
it's
Farrakhan,
healthy.
I mean,
I don't think it's healthy for Farrakhan to say what he's saying.
so then
But at this,
can you
but
drop the bomb on? I mean, like, hey, you know what? You say that stuff, boom, there goes that even existing on. I mean, do you regulate that at all, or do you just go, oh well?
I mean, so then does somebody go in and shut down his website?
Why not?
So
Why is it a good reason to be able to allow that?
so here's what we have to decide on: what's accepted and what's not accepted.
Why? What to me that because again, that seems like you're talking about hate speech, which why? And I've been under the impression that's not okay.
No, it's not okay.
So then, why not drop the ban hammer on that? I mean, I don't have a problem. I mean, if anybody else was spewing any other rhetoric of similar fashion, I would also want them similarly banned.
I guess I just have a problem with the ban hammer because I like to think that I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm probably not right in everything, and that
You see again, but again, you're judging it by the standard of Jamal. That's the problem. If everybody, was of that standard, then they could parse through a fair amount of the BS and we would not be in this situation. But again, I get back to the idea that as a society, we have shown that we are not ready for this stuff. We just are not. We cannot handle it well. It has done more harm than good by a margin.
So let me ask you this. Let's say an atheist gets elected president at some point in the future.
Okay.
And they decide that church and Christianity is highly offensive to American society. And they want to stop everybody from talking about God. And they're like, hey, this is hate speech because I believe in science and the earth was not created in 7 days. And there was no Noah's Ark. It's statistically and probability impossible to put
But I don't
two.
know how that quite qualifies as hate speech. I mean,
but if to atheists it is.
well, to wackos, I mean, fucking a lot of shit is stupid that I don't care about. Again,
no, that's my point. Who's making the standard?
I'm sorry. I'm tired of everybody measuring everything by what one asshole on the internet might fucking complain about. Fuck that guy. I don't give a shit what he thinks. If you're coming at me from a point of just an argument that I just ain't got, I got no time for it. I mean,
my point is, I'm scared. I'm deathly afraid of who would be making those decisions, right? Because I look at history and I look at when one society.
I look at where we're at currently, and I go, I don't feel like that would be making things worse. Because yes, I understand there's a downside. Of course there is. There's a downside to everything. However, the upside of cleaning up the joint being the internet, putting any kind of filter or fucking muzzle on what's going on. I mean, it's just a nonstop flood of this, and again, we have shown clearly that we cannot handle it. To me, it's almost a similar argument. I don't know that everybody's ready for like electric vehicles. They're too powerful. Right. They're too fast.
Yeah.
And without great assistance from the onboard computer to help your dumb ass from plowing it into the freaking person in front of you because you went 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, which you've never comprehended before, you might rear end somebody a lot really fast. But there's a lot of AI going along to help you out, to guide you along, to regulate the actions of the vehicle that might otherwise be too much for the driver, for the operator. Similarly with the internet, we've shown all of us operators, most of us aren't good at it. Maybe there needs to be some licensing to get on the internet. I'm open to options, but we have clearly shown that we cannot handle it. That it has only been used as a tool for people that had wet dreams about how to influence people. I mean, oh my god. I mean, all the bad spy novels. I mean, like if Tom Clancy would have been alive to see the internet, he'd have written a bunch of other damn novels that would have had freaking Harrison Ford in them when they became movies.
So I'm not against regulation at all. I think we should regulate people that drill for oil, and I think we should regulate people that pollute the air and the water. And I am not disagreeing that we should regulate the internet. The thing that that does give me pause is I don't know who or what should be doing those regulations, because if I were to fall into one of those marginalized groups and all of a sudden I was told that I had no platform, then what's my option?
No, I hear you.
Right. So you said there's a downside, right? And you're right. So let's say you take these 100,000 wackos, right? We're a nation of 330 million, and you find something and you tell these 100,000 wackos or 50,000 wackos, you've got no voice. You're done. You're cut off.
But let's go ahead and qualify why that happened. You know, it's not like we just arbitrarily picked a bunch of people to cut off from being on the internet. It's because, oh, by the way, you're advocating violence towards people. That's not okay. I don't know why suddenly that it seems like it is okay to do. I mean, that's one of the norms, I guess, that have just been thrown by the wayside by this current administration of all these gentlemen's agreements to not freaking verbally assault and threaten people. I mean, I don't know. I thought that there were, you know, actual laws on the books about like inciting violence. You know, honestly, apparently there are not. I guess that I didn't know that was one of the gentlemen's agreements. You know, so again, I'm not saying like, I mean, and hey, fuck it. There are regulations. You can't show titties, right? That makes me a little sad. I love titties, but you can't see them. So, you know what? If we can get over that loss, then we can get over the loss of fucking Uncle Jeb.
So that brings that you bring up a great point
about fucking how we're gonna bring the revolution.
No, you bring up a great point. So, what about some type of rating system for the internet and social media?
Okay, I mean, I'm all ears.
Right. I mean, is that something that you think would work? And it's kind of a thing of, if you want to see sex and violence, you go see an R-rated movie, and if you're not of a certain age, you can't get in to go see that movie. And if there's certain content on the internet that you want to see, you have to be of a certain age or something in order to see it.
I don't know if the age is a qualification, because that, I mean, you know, that's part of the problem. Is it? Goddamn, I mean, so much of this stuff is targeted at people my age and your age and people older than us. I mean, they're the most susceptible to it. At least some of the young kids are wary of the internet because they grew up in it, and they've learned. I assume a lot of young kids have learned, maybe not all of them, to be suspect of what's on the internet. But old people seem to do, which blows my mind. I mean, all the old people that back in the day were so damn worried that like Mortal Kombat was going to corrupt my brain, or that if you played Iron Maiden backwards, it was going to tell you to go kill your family. I heard all that shit back when I was a kid.
And now they're the ones that are sharing all these conspiracy theories.
Man, without even a blink or a thought about how completely full of shit that link is.
Right.
Stunning. Um, yeah. So I don't know that solved the issue, but I'm just, I don't feel like there's like any effort made at all. And
No,
you know,
it's a
it,
fantastic
the free range that we've got going on now, we cannot hang. We just cannot. I'm sorry. Humanity has shown that we, at least freaking Americans, that we cannot use the internet responsibly
so
as a whole.
so let me ask you a question before we close this out.
Yep.
Are you familiar with how China treats social media?
Differently from what I've heard.
So they have a complete lockdown on everything. Complete lockdown. China does. State sponsored, so only government. And if you want to post anything, it's got to go through government regulation. So Facebook, Twitter, everything is
Which
banned.
Again is not that different. It's just different part. It's just further along the scale. Because again, it's got to go through our government too, right?
If you were in China and you wanted to post a picture, it would have to go to a government regulator, and they would have to say, yes, you can post this picture, or yes, you can say this, or no, you can't say this.
Is not that different than here. It's just further along the spectrum. While you may not physically send it to a regulator who checks it and then says, okay, there will be somebody that comes along if your photo is definitely not okay. Right? I mean, if you show some, I don't know, fucked up, crazy, violent shit, and you put that up on the web, someone will come along soon and take that down, right? That will be regulated, will it not?
That's different than having to get approval for everything you do.
I get it, but it's not the same result. You get the same effect. I understand. I qualified that a moment ago. That I get that you're not sending it to somebody and he's going and then it goes to the World Wide Web. I understand that it's getting out there, and then but the end result is that it gets regulated. So on the spectrum of being regulated, it's on there. It's just different than where the China folks are doing it.
So let me give you an example. There's somebody that, okay, I don't know if you know this guy or not. Maybe. I don't know. Do you know him? No, I don't think you know him. All right. Lives in China. Used to live in Japan. Has been out of the country for probably 10 years, right? Yeah. He's a teacher, right? Used to live in Portland. Guy I knew. And he's a teacher, and he's currently in China.
Is somebody I know too?
I don't know if you know him. You might know him.
There's a fellow I know that fits that description so far, but go ahead.
And he's been in China and cannot send a text message to his family because he's been trying to text what's going on with the coronavirus, and they're blocking it.
Right.
So he has traveled outside of China to be able to get on social media to tell people what's going on with him.
Wow.
But when he's in China, he can't make a phone call or text or get on any social media because what he's saying is not what the government is allowing to be said.
So isn't he putting himself in jeopardy by going outside of China and going, hey, this is Steve, and here's what's going on. Now I'm going back to China. I mean, wouldn't China go, hey, welcome back, come over here? You know, I mean,
pretty much, yeah. He's taking a risk every time he communicates. Sure. So the only thing that he's able to send are things that are state sponsored. I've got a problem with that.
For sure. So do I. I mean,
and
like I said, that's a lot. That's way down here on the spectrum. You know, we're way over here. We're like we ain't doing shit hardly, other than if you show some titties, then we're on you.
But is it a slippery slope
over here? Huh?
Is it a slippery slope? Once you start that, don't you just keep going to the other side? I don't know. I have a problem with that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you got to start somewhere, and we've started somewhere. We've said you can't show titties or beheadings, maybe. So those two things will get you the boot. You know, whatever it is. we're on the scale of censorship. We do it here too. We just do. We're just on a different spot on the scale.
It's
And
gonna
I
be
don't agree
it's
with that. I don't agree with that. Obviously, with the way that China runs it, obviously, I don't. I am all for the free exchange of information, as long as you are not trying to advocate to hurt somebody else.
I agree.
And
I
that
think a healthy amount of regulation is
and
fair.
it,
I have no problems with
and the
that.
thing that's frustrating is that this feels like something that is already on the books. It's just not being enforced. Because again, all I'm asking for, the free exchange of information without the ability to broadcast the advocating violence towards somebody. And I don't know. It seems like I've seen a lot of examples of people advocating a lot of violence towards each other. Um, and I don't know that stuff gets regulated at all. So if we can somehow manage to take down pictures of titties in this country, why can't we regulate that?
It's a good question.
So I don't know. Putin doesn't want us to have titties, but he's all for us tearing each other apart. I swear to God.
What else is going on with you this week?
Oh, nothing. New Year's.
Yeah, how was your New Year's, man? What'd you guys do?
Man, okay. The amount of folks that celebrate by firing their weapons, and at least one, like, I mean, dude, I thought I was in freaking like Afghanistan or some shit. I mean,
Was it
like,
weapons or was it fireworks or both?
dude, that was guns.
You heard guns.
That was fucking guns. I mean, I know what fireworks sounds like. I mean, dude, and there was like full auto. I mean, I was like, dude, I was like that close to like, maybe we should all go get in the bathtub until freaking fireworks were done. Because what in the shit, people? I mean, there's plenty of fireworks to be had.
Right.
But like that's like apparently the one opportunity for all the yeehaws to freaking let it rip.
So I look at it a little more pragmatically. I look at it like, isn't ammo damn expensive? Like shooting these rounds in the air, aren't you just wasting money?
Man, but I mean, isn't a bottle of freaking Dom Perignon expensive? But if you're pouring it all over some sweet titties, then it's totes worth it. I mean, that's all it is for these guys. They're just like, I mean, you might as well just be jerking off in the middle of the street,
Right.
I mean, that's what they're doing. It's just a big excuse to be able to go do it. And it's remarkable.
Yeah, that was
a little bit of a downer.
yeah, we had family movie night.
Nice.
And the girls went outside at midnight and were banging pots and pans. And there was a couple times my wife and I looked at each other and said, "Was that a firework or was that a gunshot?" And I'm like, "That was a firework." And then the next one, I'm like, "That was a gunshot." I was like, "Yeah." We had our fair amount of gunshots here, but we we watched Adventures in Babysitting with the kids and just sat on the couch and had family movie night and ate snacks.
Nice.
And that was it, just the good old quarantine New Year's Eve. And
right.
I know some people went out and went to house parties, and I'm like, no,
it's a bold move.
No, I stayed at home with the.
Yeah, we watched some Star Wars. We kind of doing it from like the sequential episodes.
Yeah.
So starting with the prequels that everybody hates, and I'm just going to go out there and say it again. I love them.
I love the prequels. Oh my god, those are my favorite. No, they're my favorite. I'll go on record. Those prequels are my favorite.
For me, the cartoons are my favorite.
Okay.
Honestly, like Star Wars content on video to watch, for me, rating as quality would be like the clone. There's I think the Clone Wars
Yeah.
the Clone Wars is like a whole series of cartoons.
Now, are the cartoons in the same universe, or are they in an alternate universe?
Oh no, dude! It's all taking place. It's all taking place during the prequels.
Okay, so it's in the same universe.
Oh yes, 100%. I mean, you got Anakin, you got Yoda, you got all of them running about. So and it's intertwined as you watch like the prequel movies. Like after just watching a lot of those Clone Wars cartoons, because I watched a lot of them all at once. I mean, it's just really good. But the content of those cartoons is so good. It is so much better than the movies.
Who wrote them? Was it the original? It wasn't George Lucas, right?
I always see his name in the credits, right? Because he's always there.
Okay.
And there's I think another person called like Sam Fiolini, I believe was the name I always saw. I don't know if that's 100%. And they might be. And I mean, dude, there's like 8 seasons. I mean, there's a ton of episodes. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I have a feeling there's probably a few different writers for all that.
Right. But they follow the same pattern and they keep it true.
I mean, you got Darth Maul in there. You got, I mean, his story is fleshed out more. You got, you know, all the characters' stories are just kind of elaborated on more. And it's during that timeline. And then that it all syncs up with like the Mandalorian show that's out now, which is again happening kind of in that same time frame. Mm-hmm. So it's just, it's pretty neat because it's a lot of, for me, really good Star Wars content because I'm a big Star Wars nut, and some of the last movies kind of left me going, not my favorite. Mm-hmm. And especially like we talked about, people bag on the prequels so hard. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll accept the criticisms here and there.
Well, do they bag on the prequels because of the graphical output or because of the storyline?
No, I mean, the graphics are what they are. I mean, they're a part of the era, and fine. I don't think that could ever be a big criticism because that's just the era. I mean, I guess and they relied so heavily on CGI because that was like the thing that was like brand new. That was like
that's all you had back then.
Well, that was the thing, is it was not all you had. What you had back then was the old way of doing it, and CGI was the new thing.
Gotcha.
CGI was like the flex, and they flexed like crazy for 3 whole movies of CGI.
So what a lot of people don't know is they used a lot of stop motion in the first 3 movies.
Now in the prequels, you mean?
In the prequels, yeah.
Interesting.
I was listening to a podcast about how much stop motion they use and how people couldn't tell it was stop motion because it was so good.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's a ton of green screen stuff going on.
Right.
There just is. Well,
it's kind of hard to make a movie about space without using a green screen, considering we can't go on location to make the movie.
I dig it, but then like you think about Star Trek, like with freaking Shatner. I mean, you know, it's amazing when you just have a set and you just shoot on a set and it has to be real.
But they didn't do a lot of galactic battles between.
No, well, I mean, there's some, you know, the Enterprise phasing on some, you know, I mean, it was pretty lame looking, you know, but whatever.
Right.
But as far as the prequels, like the big, like, I mean, legit criticisms. I mean, this is racist as fuck. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Jar Jar's horrible. I mean,
yeah.
And the other bad guy dudes, like the banking federation dudes that are like, man, they're horrible. That is some horrible shit.
It's like, who are they trying to portray these guys to be?
I mean, guess, but I think I'd be racist if I guessed. So
exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, but it's horrible. So valid criticism. Mm-hmm. However, okay, fine. Get beyond that. And it's still fun times at Star Wars, and I enjoy it. So fucking hate me. I don't care. But the other big Star Wars thing to check out. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. You're a Star Wars fan, right?
I like Star Wars.
That's all I needed to hear. So if you like Star Wars, I would just like to direct your attention to it's to me, I would consider this really like the best Star Wars content.
Whoa. The best?
No, the best. I mean, it's just what it is, and I'm going to try to scroll and talk to hopefully find this.
All right, I'm waiting. This
Oh my
is
God.
going to be good.
Nah.
If this is going to be the best, I definitely need to hear what you're talking about.
When I'm trying to find my phone, which is a dagger.
There is a lot of Star Wars content out there, people. A lot of Star Wars content out there. And if we're talking about the best, like what is there, 9 movies, 10 movies, cartoons, short stories, graphical novels, there's all kinds of stuff, and he's about to tell us the best. So I am eagerly awaiting this with bated breath.
Let me send this to you, please.
All right. And I was trying to talk and give you enough cover.
No, and I appreciate that because, that's solid. I'm trying to see how I might be able to send this to you from my phone. And anyway, so what this is from a video game. Okay. And there we go. Oh, baby. I am amazing. Sorry, I'm texting it to you now.
All right.
God damn.
I'm here.
So what this is every cutscene put together from a video game called Star Wars: The Old Republic. Okay, and this is a video game you play on your PC. I've never played it. I don't play PC games. I'm a dirty console peasant. And anyway, this is all the cutscenes because a lot of video games, and watch that from the beginning. Don't watch it from the halfway point because it's like a high def version and then like a low def of the same thing. So watch from the very beginning because the very beginning is high def and God, it's beautiful. But the story, the content, and it's like 25 minutes long. So, I mean.
And this is a video game.
It's a video game, dude. It's a video game. So I'm saying the best content of Star Wars. Here's my hot take. The best content of Star Wars is not in any dang movie. It is just not. The best Star Wars content comes from video games. It comes from cartoons. And what you're watching,
I'm watching it right now.
What you're watching there is all the cutscenes from that video game.
Gotcha.
So this is not like the gameplay. This is like when you kick ass in the game and you're doing your normal stuff, and then like you finish a mission, and then boom, there's a big story scene.
Yep.
These are all those story scenes mashed together.
These are all the cutscenes.
It is so effing good. I've watched that 5 times at least.
And the dialogue is good and everything.
Well, like this one just came out. Like somebody re-released it, like
gotcha
for HD'd it, and it looks beautiful. It's crazy how they enhanced it.
It is. It looks really good.
But watch that on your big screen, yo. I mean, it is such a good story. There's so much good action. It looks so good. The battle scenes are like explode your brain. But the stories too are always so good, and they're always just so watered down in the movies. For me, that's all. I mean,
and that's because they're playing to the masses, right?
Well, I mean, God, would you like to hear about a Death Star again?
Right. I know. My point is the video games is a very targeted audience that they can tell a specific story to. And when you make a movie, they've got to make it so it makes $1 billion. So it's got to,
for sure. No,
it's got to go to everybody.
100%. And that's why they go, okay, what can everybody identify? The Death Star. Okay, right. Let's make it a little different. Let's make it a whole planet. Done. You know? Pay me $1 million for my consulting writer fee.
Right. Well, think about the third movie, and it was the first time that and I was a kid. We were kids, but it was kind of the commercialization of Star Wars for the first time. Remember when they brought the Ewoks in, and then everywhere you went in America, you saw an Ewok doll for sale,
For sure.
and it was like, was that movie just to sell Ewok dolls? And a lot of times movies nowadays, it's like they make the movie so they can sell the toy at McDonald's.
But that was the genius of George Lucas. Think about that. That dude gave away all the rights to the movies, and his deal was, I get to keep all the merchandising.
Right.
And that was in the goddamn 70s.
Yeah.
That fool had, I mean, dude, was he a time traveler from another world? I mean, how did he
have that know?
Vision? Because it wasn't like there was a shit ton of toys being made back then. Not
no,
like
there wasn't.
Like now.
No.
And I mean, that's insane. That's just nuts.
Because I mean, when the third movie came out, you couldn't walk anywhere without tripping over an Ewok.
Oh,
right.
No, and I get it, and fine. I like toys too, so whatever. And I get the idea that the movies, like you say, the movies have to have a broader appeal, and that is a thing with, like, you know, the games. You know, that they're a smaller audience, so you can kind of get a little more, I don't know, creative, or you can get a little bit more focused on one part of a story or another.
Absolutely.
And kind of get a little more into it because people will give a shit or not.
Right.
But I still got to say, that content that I just showed you.
Yeah.
Any Star Wars fan would watch that content and go, oh my God.
I'm going to check it out on the big screen when we're done.
Man. I mean, because if you watch that and you go, I don't think I could see. I mean, I don't think that would make it in a movie. I would say you're crazy. Because to me, that content right there is better than every movie. So, and it is kind of a progressive story. I mean, it's bits and pieces of one all kind of mashed together, but you can kind of get it. It's not like it's, you know, whatever. Anyhow, good start. Oh, but I'll round off my Star Wars talk by The Mandalorian, the redemption of Boba Fett.
Yes.
I don't know if you follow. Do you watch Mandalorian show?
I haven't watched it, but go ahead. You're not going to give away any spoilers.
I might give away some spoilers.
Go ahead. But, it's fine.
So Boba Fett's in it, and that's pretty sweet.
Boba Fett was a fan favorite.
Right. And that was always kind of the thing, is that why was he a fan favorite at all? Because he went out like a chump.
Right.
He barely had any presence in the movies at all.
Right.
Hardly had any lines.
Right.
And again, he went out like a bitch. I mean, and yet, I mean, I was a kid and I was like, that guy was so awesome. But it was so elusive because, again, folks got to realize it was not like today. I mean, it was like you saw the movie and like he was on screen for like a moment. You're like, oh, I remember, like, in all this crazy movie that you saw,
you remember him.
There was like a hint of a dude in a cool mask and outfit. And you're like, that guy was badass. And even though he went out like a bitch, he was still cool looking. And there was so much other crazy shit that happened in Star Wars. And then it was over and you went home. And that was it, you know, and you kind of remembered a little. He was just a part of the whole memory.
I had a Boba Fett doll.
Awesome.
I did.
I'm envious. But he had that. He created such a mystique despite being such a lame character.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know. That now with the Mandalorian show, they were able to fit him into the story. They alluded to him in one of the earlier episodes of this second season. And then he's been in the last couple episodes as himself. And it's been really cool. And they even have the same dang actor that was Jango Fett from the prequel movies.
Really?
It's so perfect because he's old now.
Right.
Like he should be.
Yeah.
But it fits with the whole story. So Boba Fett's old because, I mean, he was a kid in the prequels, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so good. I don't know. And he's such a badass now. I mean, he's, you know, how they haven't really went into how he survived his ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
Just that he did, and he doesn't look really great for having survived it. But he did, and he gets his armor back, and he's kicking ass as he's like every middle-aged man's dream, to go
Making his
cosplay.
comeback.
Oh man, and make a big glorious comeback in shiny new armor and be a big badass. So
let me ask you this: so
cool.
what's your take on this whole Baby Yoda phenomenon?
Grogu is his name, which, by the way, worst name ever. I know there's like a whole formula of how Star Wars comes up with the names of its characters, and
right.
But you know what? If that's what you come up with, wouldn't you go, oh, let's scratch that one. Let's go to the next.
Go to the next one. Yeah.
Anyway, Grogu, terrible name.
Is that just more of the merchandising? Because people who have never seen The Mandalorian or anything, or Baby Yoda sharing the memes, buying the dolls.
Well, that was the big criticism last year, right? Was that they didn't have any Baby Yoda dolls for Christmas when the episodes were first coming out and people first saw them. And it seemed like a no-brainer. Like, oh, it seems like the store's going to be flooded with Baby Yoda last season, and it was not.
Right.
Everybody was like, how'd that? So, yeah, they definitely made sure they got him in here this time. I don't know. I mean, he's a cool character and all. It will be fun to see the show progress beyond Baby Yoda.
Was this the second season or the third season? Second.
Yep. Okay. So check them out. They're good. They're great. I've enjoyed the heck out of them.
I've got a lot of catching up to do on those.
Have you seen the MMA lady that's in them?
I haven't. So
Harlow something, whatever her name is.
So like I was telling you last time we talked about Star Wars, sometime around the second movie, not the prequels, but the next ones that came out, midway through the second movie, I was kind of done. I was like, ugh.
No, the new ones, right?
Yeah, the new ones.
Yeah, I had so much hope. Like, honestly, when I first saw the trailer, I got it. Man, you kind of opened up a little wound here, because like there was a long stretch. The stretch from the end of the prequels to these new ones.
Yeah.
That was almost as big of a stretch as from the originals to the prequels. I mean, I don't know if it was quite as much time, but it was a lot.
Right.
So, I had a lot of hopes. And I remember the very first trailer I saw, like all you saw was like a stormtrooper stand up, takes off his helmet, and it's Finn, and he's sweating, and he's like freaking out, right? And he's like, and it just says Force Awakens. And I'm like, oh, dude, are you telling me like a stormtrooper is going to be a damn Jedi?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm like, oh, that's so badass. I mean, like the Force is everywhere all of a sudden. That's what you're telling me. The Force Awakens, like everybody, everybody's going to be a Jedi, and there's going to be,
yeah, like
it was none of those things. It was none of those things. So,
and I get,
it was a whiny bitch little Darth Vader.
The originals were so good, and it might be nostalgic because we were kids.
Now they hold up, though. You watch them again, they hold up. They're solid.
And I remember when Revenge of the Jedi. Remember, for the first month, it was Revenge of the Jedi before they changed it to Return of the Jedi. Remember that?
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
I was not aware of that little bit of trivia. That's a nice one.
And I remember we were probably 10 years old, maybe, or so, when that third movie came out.
Yep.
Maybe 10 or 11. And I remember riding my bike from my house to Lloyd Center. For those watching, it was a shopping center in Portland, Oregon. And anyways, it was probably a 30 to 45 minute bike ride. at 10 years old, which is crazy because my daughter's 11 and I'd never let her ride her bike to the movie theater. But that's
right. How great! I know.
That's neither here nor there. Anyways,
Yeah.
me and my buddies rode our bike to the movie theater. I don't even know if my parents. No, I don't know. Anyways, we don't want to get sidetracked. And I remember going like 4 or 5 days in a row to watch the movie. We rode our bike up there and watched the movie and came home and talked about it and reenacted it and did it again. So when the prequels came out and the new ones came out, I guess there's just that sense of nostalgia because, like, you know, people say, I remember when, you know, Kennedy was shot and all this stuff. Like, I remember when that movie came out, and that was like a defining like point in my life. I was 10, 11, 12 years old, whatever it was. But that was a big deal because that was like the biggest movie in the world at that point.
Right.
And like I'm sitting in the theater with my boys and we're watching this and we're just like, oh my God. Because at that point,
event anymore, you know what I mean?
No, I know. Because at that point, the first two movies, I didn't see them. I saw them on video. I never saw the first two in the theater because, you know, I was like 3 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
So I remember watching the first two movies on VHS from good old Blockbuster Video or Hollywood Video or whatever. And then the next day riding my bike to the theater to watch the new one. Right. And so then being an adult, when these other ones came out, I was kind of hoping to recreate that kind of whole thing when I was a kid.
Live up to that hype. I mean, there's so much hype.
And it not only did not live up to the hype, but it made me not want to watch the rest of the franchise.
I hear you. Well, first of all, if you have not watched the Clone Wars cartoons series, you need to do that because it will restore your faith in Star Wars as a franchise.
Okay.
There's a movie that begins it, and I don't know if you got the Disney Plus, it's all on there. It's so
I got the Disney Plus.
It's all baby, it's all on there. I mean, get comfy. The Clone Wars movie comes first, and that's like an hour and a half movie, and it's all animated, it's all cartoons, and then the series starts up after that. Again, it's called Clone Wars. It's all just called Clone Wars. It's so good. So between that and that link I just sent you of the Old Republic mashup of cutscenes for all of you that want to YouTube this, or maybe we'll try to put a link in the description below. That will restore your faith in Star Wars. I guarantee it. I just guarantee it. I guarantee it because my faith was shaken after these new movies, which somehow are supposed to be so much better than the prequels, which I don't know. You can just kiss my ass with that idea. But here's a because like when I went to Star Wars was the very first movie I saw. My old man took me, and I think I was 4. I had to have been, and I mean I barely remember anything. You know what I'm saying? I just remember being there. This is a book I got, and this is from. Let me look, because it's in 80? Here. No, sir. 1978.
Ooh.
Which is kind of fun because check it. It's actually the story. And there's some stuff in here that is not in the movie.
Uh-huh.
Which is kind of fun. But like in the little summary, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
Like for the Library of Congress and shit.
Yeah.
I love this. I just wanted to share. So it says Library of Congress cataloging, main entry, undertitle, the Star Wars Storybook summary. The intergalactic adventures of Luke Skywalker and the Rebel Alliance as they battle the evil Imperial forces which have overthrown the Old Republic. Parentheses, science fiction, Star Wars motion picture. So I get such a kick out of this, but there are some, you know, it's just a book with pictures from the movie. But this scene right here, all right?
Yeah.
First of all, tell me that dude does not look like the dude that Pedro Pascal from The Mandalorian, and this is like from 40 years ago or 50 years ago or whatever.
50 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But this whole passage is like a little scene from the movie that is not in the movie. So it's kind of fun. It's Luke talking to his friend Biggs, which I do recall that name Biggs from the movie. It's one of his buddies. But it's in the book, and it's those pictures are from the film. obviously edited out.
They just got cut out. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a hoot. Just old storybook. So I've been reading those to the kiddos. They're I mean, that they've made it this long has been amazing.
Very nice. All right, man. Before we wrap up, do you want to do a little buy or sell? I've got a little buy or sell for you today.
Boy, do I. Lay it on me.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Buy or sell. All right. I want to talk a little bit about fast food restaurants. So the overall buy or sell is going to be fast food.
Big buy on that.
What's that?
Big buy on that.
I knew you were a big buy on that. So I want to throw out, I'm going to give you, well, I've got 50. I put together 50 different fast food restaurants.
That's a lot.
Now, some of these are regional and some of these you don't have back there. And some of these I don't necessarily have here. But I'm looking at my list of 50 and I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to cut out. All right. So I've gone through and I've ranked these. And then the ranking that I ended up using is gross revenue. So you're going to have some of the heavier hitters towards the top. But I kind of want to talk about some of your and my favorites. So I'm going to go
personal preference here.
Yeah. So
right.
I'm going to start at the bottom.
Okay.
And I'm going to work my way up 5 at a time right now. Now, some of these I know are not in your area, and you can just kind of give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. White Castle. Have you ever had a White Castle burger?
I have, man. I mean, that's so much hype.
All right. So, thumbs down, overrated. Boston Market.
Man, some chicken and some like mashed potatoes. That's like real. Right, that's actually like food. So,
yeah. All right. Auntie Anne's.
Not familiar.
Okay. We'll keep moving. Baskin Robbins.
Fucking ice cream. I mean, come on.
All right. Thumbs up. All right. Do you have Marco's Pizza back there?
Does not ring a bell, no.
All right. We'll keep going. Jason's Deli. Are those in the Northwest?
Does not sound familiar.
McAllister's Deli.
Does not sound familiar.
All right, here's one I know you know. Moe's.
The chowder?
No, it's burritos.
Not familiar.
All right, we'll keep going. Here's one. Now, I don't know if you have these in Portland now, but we have these all over here in the South. Church's Chicken.
I think I had that when I was back there. I don't know if I had it. I remember seeing it or driving past it.
Okay.
But right, I don't know that I ever had it. Is it equivalent to Popeyes, or is it like
it's a competitor of Popeyes, yeah.
I don't think I've ever had it.
All right. Do you have a Tim Hortons back there? It's a sandwich place.
No, that's like a Canadian thing, right? That's like donuts, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Fucking Canadians.
All right. Firehouse Subs.
I am not familiar.
All right. This is one that is not here, but showed up in my research. Del Taco.
Oh, I think I've had that. That's okay.
You had that in LA, right? It's a southern.
No, I had that here.
There's a Del Taco there?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, by the way, I would like to qualify that okay as, I mean, they're good in relation to all other fast food.
Gotcha.
They're really good. However, compared to a proper taqueria,
gotcha. Okay,
I would rather go to any taqueria. I mean,
yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense.
It will be way cheaper and just as good or better.
Checkers or Rallies. Familiar with Checkers? All right, we'll keep going. Qdoba.
Not familiar.
All right. This is one that is not in my area, but again showed up in my research. El Pollo Loco.
Pollo Loco. That sounds familiar.
So it's not the local one we had. This one is a chain. It's in Texas. It's in Arizona, New Mexico, California, but they do a lot of business in the Southwest. Didn't know if you were familiar. All right, I'll give you one that hot take. I'll give you one hot take that I was not very impressed with, and a lot of people may jump all down my throat on this one. In-N-Out Burger.
Bomb. I mean,
I was not all that impressed.
You can. What's wrong with you?
I had it.
I got to take off my glasses and look right at the public. What's wrong with you people? I mean, and if you have access to In-N-Out Burger and you don't go there, I don't want to say fuck you. Okay.
All right. So for the record, I've had In-N-Out Burger twice. And it was in 2017. And I was in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I had it twice while I was there. And maybe, I don't know, it didn't blow my doors off. It was good. But
I don't want to tell you to fuck off, Jamal, but goddamn.
All right. All right. We'll keep going. All right.
How did you not think that was like stupid in your face good?
Well, here's the thing. Maybe I didn't have the right thing.
But I mean, isn't that their whole claim to fame? Is the consistency with their product is just.
But like, I guess you can
get it. Had it once, so
I guess you can get it like animal style and all this other stuff. Yeah. Maybe I didn't order the right thing. I don't know.
It's pretty simple. But, I mean, did you order a cheeseburger? Because that's what they got. I mean,
I had a cheeseburger and they had the little stringy fries.
So good.
It was good. It just I was expecting like.
Okay, hey, so remember Hot and Now.
Oh, God. Bone chip place. Yeah. All right. If I'm comparing it to Hot and Now, it was all that. But
now I will say I didn't actually eat an In-N-Out while smoking a butt like with Hot and Now. But
right. Well, there's a burger place a little bit that we're coming up to here that I'm going to say from my perspective is better than In-N-Out Burger, but we'll get there in a second.
Okay.
Steak and Shake. Familiar with that? Okay, that's a Southern thing. It's basically what the name says, Steak and Shake. Jersey Mike's. Okay. I don't remember where this one was. Raising Cane's. I don't know. It's a chicken place. All right. Wingstop. Do you have Wingstops back there? Okay. No Wingstop. All right, let's go on. This is one that I don't know. Well, you might have had this when you were in Florida. This one is a classic. Bojangles. You ever had Bojangles?
I don't think so, but I know I've seen those signs when I was passing through.
If you ever have an opportunity to stop and get Bojangles, stop and get Bojangles. Just put it out there.
Okay.
All right. So now we're getting to more of a fast foodie type place. Carl's Jr.
I could pass.
Okay. Have you ever eaten at a Culver's?
No.
Okay, we'll keep going.
The Carl's Jr. ain't bad, and Lord knows I've eaten there a lot.
Yes.
I mean, at the record store in the parking lot.
Yes.
Can I just stop and tell a quick little story about what that reminded Carl?
Please do. I love to hear the old Carl's Jr. stories. So
this is specifically the Carl's Jr. drive-through, and how they're not good on gold spoke rims. We were standing out front of the record store one late evening after work, as you do, and everybody's hanging out, and one of the fellows pulls in, and he had his pride and joy, some new rims that were Dayton's, I believe.
Yes.
Which are gold spoke wheels, for those that are not familiar.
Ridiculously expensive.
And they're beautiful.
They are, man. They are.
I'm a car person, so whatever. But again, there's some things that are universal that you don't even have to be a car person. But you see some Dayton's and you go,
I don't think a lot of people nationwide have actually seen Dayton's like up close. Like they've seen them in rap videos.
And these were not the triple golds, because those are like blinding. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I don't even think I've seen triple golds in real life, but these were they were legitimate Daytons.
No, you did. You've seen triple gold. So another little caveat will deviate. Remember
fine.
the rap group South Central Cartel? Remember those guys?
Vaguely, yes.
Remember when the lead singer came into the store and he was driving that Lexus? Remember that? And he took up like 4 parking spots.
Boy, I wish I would. I do not. And now I'm.
You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah, he came to the store and he took up like 4 parking spots, and we had to go tell him to move. He had triple gold Daytons on his Lexus.
Did he tell you to piss off when you told him to move?
He was actually pretty cool about it.
Oh, well, that's nice.
And he went and moved his car. So, but anyways, carry on.
Well, so the triple golds though, that's what he had.
He had the triple golds.
Was it just like?
And they were legit, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, it's got California plates on it!" Because remember, California was like a big deal. If you met somebody from California, it was like, "Oh my god,
no,
you're from California!" Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. But anyway,
so late night after work, everybody's hanging out talking. Dude pulls in with his Daytons, and he was very proud. He was so happy, and they were shiny and beautiful, even though they weren't triple golds. And I'm pretty sure somebody pointed out that they weren't triple golds, and he was like, "Yeah, fuck you."
Right.
But and then he was like, "Hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a burger from Carl's Jr., which was in the same parking lot, like literally right there. Like it's all one big parking lot. The record store, Carl's Jr. is in that very same parking lot. And so he motored on over. And everybody else just kind of continued to chat in the parking lot. And I mean, I remember I could hear him ordering. You'd hear the lady, okay, pull through. And again, everybody's just standing, talking. And you just hear, oh, it was sad.
Yeah.
I mean, we all were like, oh.
And you knew what it was.
And he came around. I mean, he couldn't even eat. He couldn't even eat his food. He was like sick to his stomach from fucking up his rims.
Just the scrapage.
Oh. Yeah, that one hurt a little bit. And he showed it off, and it was bad. I mean, it's like all the way around. Like that.
Yep. All right. You ready for my hot take?
Yep.
Best burger I've had in quite some time. Better than any burger I've had in a long time. Five Guys.
Killer Burger's better.
Haven't had Killer Burger.
Five Guys. You don't got Killer Burger out there?
No, we don't have Killer Burger.
Because we had Five Guys first, and we thought they were pretty good. But then Killer Burger came to town. Man, ain't been Five Guys since.
All right.
Yeah. So if Killer Burger's on your list, or if it ain't, it should be.
All right. Zaxby's.
Not familiar.
All right. Hardee's.
I have not been.
All right. Hardee's and Carl's Jr. are the same company. In different parts of the country, they just white label it a different name. Okay.
All right. Well,
Whataburger. Have you had Whataburger?
No, that's like the one. It's like you're either In-N-Out or you're Whataburger, right?
Yeah. I had Whataburger. That's the Marky Mark, his family.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. South Carolina. I was in Myrtle Beach, and I had a Whataburger, and it was fantastic. And it was so good that the wife and I actually bought T-shirts.
Yeah.
Like the service was good. The food was good. There was nothing bad about it. It was a little expensive, but I kind of expected it to be expensive just because it was Whataburger and it's Marky Mark and Donnie Wahlberg. And, I expected to pay $14 for a hamburger, which is ridiculous.
No, I dig it. I get that. I mean, well, the Killer Burger is about that same thing, but man, I mean, you get a sweet burger.
Yeah. So Whataburger was good. Papa John's.
I take a hard pass on that.
Right. Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Crack.
Yeah.
You gotta love Jack in the Crack. I mean, come on.
I only eat breakfast from Jack in the Box when I go there. Like my kids love Jack in the Box breakfast.
I haven't eaten there in a long, long time, but when my old man what was in the nursing home towards the end, and he always needed to eat more. He was always very skinny, and so they allowed him to have whatever, whereas like everybody else in the nursing home was like in a very strict diet.
Right.
And they were just like, oh no, you just need to put on weight. And so he liked Jack in the Crack. And there was one just down the street. So when I would come visit, he'd be like, hey, get me one of those sourdough jacks. He loved the sourdough, right? Oh my God. I mean, that was like the most high class thing you could ever do is have like a sour. Anyway.
Nice.
But dude, I'm just saying, like, when I would walk that through the nursing home.
Yeah. Oh, you probably got looks from everybody.
Oh man, you got like all the diabetes and all these people that can't eat nothing.
Right. Yeah.
And they got like some plain ass rice on their dish. And then here I come with like a double fat burger going on. Oh, knowing him, he probably traded it for something. I don't know.
But. Dairy Queen.
I used to mess up their chicken strips with gravy and toast.
Gravy.
Get enough carbs. And some fries.
Gravy. Little Caesars.
Whoa, we gotta stop, drop, anchor. You don't like gravy as a whole? Oh. Does that get you kicked out of the South? Because
I've already lost my South card. Let's just keep it moving. I don't want to.
I was gonna say, man, because no gravy in the South, dude. Because how do you eat fried chicken with like mashed potatoes? There's something missing. It's gravy.
I don't eat a lot of fried chicken.
You're losing all your cards, aren't you?
I told you. Let's just keep moving. All right. Little Caesars.
Oh shit.
And remember, I don't do hot sauce either, but don't tell anybody.
Nah, man, I know. But
all right, Little Caesars pizza.
Back in the day, it was okay. It's $5 or whatever for a pizza. So like, yeah. What else?
Arby's.
Man, I fuck up like the big roast beef sandwich with some like horsey sauce. Oh my God. And like the curly fries. Jesus.
Every Arby's burger I ever had, they never really cooked the roast beef very well, so I stopped going there.
Well, what do you mean? Like do you mean like they don't burn it? Or like
it was burned? It was burned too much, and it was like you had to chew it for 30 minutes before you could swallow it.
Oh, it wasn't like it was pink or whatever, or like too pink or whatever. That wasn't the problem. Okay.
All right. KFC. Where do you fall on KFC?
If you're gonna just do that, just go to Popeyes. Honestly.
Okay. All right. Fair. Sonic. Do you have Sonic drive-ins back there?
I've never been.
Where they come out on the roller skates?
Nah, I've never done it. Or I don't even know if we have them.
Chipotle.
I used to destroy Chipotle. There used to be one near work.
Chipotle destroys me, but that's a whole nother story.
Whatever. I just had freaking burritos from just a taqueria place. Better than Chipotle, but Chipotle was good. I enjoyed Chipotle back in the day. I haven't eaten there in a long time.
Chipotle?
Huh?
Do you know who owns Chipotle?
I do not.
McDonald's.
Oh, that I believe. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah. I remember when I first started going there, and then like McDonald's bought them out like within a year or two.
Yeah. McDonald's owns
Chipotle. It did change.
Yeah.
But
Pizza Hut.
No, there's so much better pizza out there than that.
All right, hard pass. Hey, but remember God, it wasn't Pizza Hut. Pizza Baron, 122nd and Stark Division ish.
Oh,
You remember the place I'm talking? I don't remember the name of it.
is that Pietro's?
Yes, it was
Like
Pietro's.
the big pizza parlor or whatever.
Yeah, with the arcade games and the little hard red
See,
cups.
that was nowhere near as great as freaking Organ Grinder.
Oh, dude, Oregon Grinder was the
I
best.
mean, this place, everybody. I mean, I'm sure it's on a Google wiki or something, but
Yeah.
it was.
Google it if you can. The best part about Oregon Grinder was that Pop Shop Pop was right across the street. That was my favorite part.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was well a block or two down, but
No, we used to get that once in a while. That was like a big treat. You know, get like a
the little piece of it.
yeah, and it's pop. It's not soda.
Yeah, it's pop.
You
Anybody
know-
that says soda's wrong.
and you know how I know that it's pop because that was like the name of the company. It was pop.
Pop. Yeah, pop.
It was not the soda shop.
All right. So we are getting into the top 10 now.
All right.
Number 10, Panera Bread.
Have not been there.
All right. Number 9, Domino's Pizza.
Fucking pass.
All right, hard pass. Number 8, Dunkin' Donuts.
They're donuts. They're delicious. Of course they're.
All right.
And,
Number
and,
7.
I'll delve a little further into that whole idea because in this town, people seem to be like, oh my God, if my donut isn't shaped like a cock with some freaking cereal coming out like jizz made by some dude with a spear through his face, it's just not a good donut. And I didn't wait in line for 3 hours for it. So it couldn't possibly be a good donut. I mean, honestly, people of Portland, why do you like standing in line so damn much? I don't understand. What is so good about being in line? And people have been doing it since before phones. So, what is that voodoo? I can't. Hold on. You're gonna make me put on glasses, and I still probably can't see it. Oh, fucking keep Portland weird. Yeah, that's it.
And
I heard that we jacked that slogan from Austin.
we did. Here's the aforementioned. There's my children. You can't see their faces. And we're standing in line to get a donut.
Was it worth it?
For them, it was more of the experience than anything else.
How long did you stand in line?
30 minutes.
That's a long time for a donut. But you know,
my daughter got a chocolate frosted donut with not Captain Crunch. What's the circle ones? Fruit Loops.
I get the idea of going for like an experience because hey, it's a quirky thing. But there's like people who are like, oh, I only eat like.
Yeah, no.
Come on, man. I mean, I guess fine if that's your stick.
Right.
If that's where you
it was the first time that both of my kids were in Portland to see my mom, that they were old enough to know what was going on. They weren't in a baby stroller,
No, that's cool. Honestly, having said that, I don't think my kids could get me to do it. If there was no line, then I would say, okay, fine.
Yeah. So we waited in line, and I told them kind of the history of the place, and I got my maple bar with bacon on it. I don't remember what my wife got, but the kids got one kid got a Captain Crunch donut, and the other one got the Fruit Loop donut.
I mean, they all sound.
Here's the deal: they only take cash. They don't take cards there. At least 2017 or 18 when I was in Portland. They don't take cards, and 4 donuts cost me like $26. Yeah, like 25 bucks.
That's cool, man. I mean,
But, we were playing tourist, and, if I lived in Portland, I would not go there all regularly. But anyways, all right, let's keep it moving here.
All right.
One of my least favorites, but let's see where you stack up on this, Burger King.
If I had to say like McDonald's or Burger King, and like I had to eat one or the other, I would go with Burger King.
Okay. Wendy's.
If I had to.
Twisted your arm.
I mean, if that was like all it was around, I mean, I'd freaking eat it, you know. I mean,
All right, top five.
mm,
This is not my top five because I'd have my top five a little bit different, but this is done on gross revenue. Chick-fil-A.
it is delicious.
I had Chick-fil-A today because I can't have Chick-fil-A tomorrow
Why?
because they're closed on Sundays.
Baby Jesus?
Yeah.
All right.
They've got some troubling things that they do and troubling people who they give money to, but their sandwiches.
But the chicken sandwiches are bomb, so you know what do you do? But that's the thing is that people will go eat there, like because they feel like they're morally supporting a cause, not just because they want a chicken sandwich. Which
No, I eat there because the food's good. I don't.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get that,
Yeah.
but I guess I was just gonna say, you know, it's as silly. It's as silly to eat at a place. Let's say you don't even like chicken sandwiches, but you're going to eat a
Right.
Chick-fil-A just to support them. That seems silly. Just as I don't want to eat a chicken sandwich there because they say some crazy shit. I guess what 9013. What am I seeing?
That's my Chick-fil-A points.
Damn, you are a big supporter of Chick-fil-A.
So every time you go there, you scan the app and you get points. So I could have like 9 days of food. So basically 1,000 points is like a meal, like a full meal.
So like, you got like 9 full meals.
I have like 9 or 10. And then if I kind of break it up and don't get fries, because I'm not a big fry person anymore, I mean, I could eat for like a week for free. I mean, I've already paid for it, but you know.
No,
it's not free because I've already overpaid for the food that I bought. And then this is just kind of
helping me. But hey, whatever. I mean,
you know.
Whatever. No, it's free. I mean, it's all good. I was reminded there was a restaurant in the mall when I didn't want to, you know, when I wanted to like step it up a bit, you know, and eat healthy in the mall.
Yeah.
But it's called Steamers.
I haven't heard of that.
I think they were a chain. I don't think that this was the only one. But they did like these little dumplings, steamed little dumplings that had like chicken or pork in them.
Okay, yeah.
Oh man, I would destroy those. Oh my god, and it was so good.
Eat it with chopsticks?
Oh yeah, I mean, because I'd have my steamed dumplings. They had, like I said, like it's like basically like sausage inside, like chicken sausage or like pork sausage, whatever. And then you'd have like all these little dips. You could dip them in like hot sauce, whatever. And then you get rice and you get edamame, so like the steamed.
Nice.
Soybeans, right, with salt on.
Nice,
dude. I mean, that's like as healthy as you could eat in the mall. By a
yeah,
margin.
definitely.
And it was so good. I would destroy. Oh my god, I would destroy a plate of those right now.
I'll have to look that up.
Bring me.
All right, number 4, the staple, the classic, Taco Bell.
I mean, we've all done it. Nobody's proud of it. No, I haven't eaten at the Bell for a long time. I couldn't even tell you when. I have eaten at it. I just would never choose to anymore.
Gotcha. Number 3, Subway.
Hell no, I can't stand Subway.
You can't stand Subway? Okay, I'm a big fan of Subway. I like Subway. All right.
I like a good ass sub. I just don't think they make them. So that's all.
So are you a Jimmy John's guy?
I mean, I guess maybe I should reframe that. I don't really like subs that much. And I mean, they like when they do them all hot and they do that toasted bit to it, that was okay. But like there used to be a place called Richie B's.
Okay.
In Northwest Portland. And it was by the hospital. I don't know if you remember. Did you ever go?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
Richie B's. And so he had a picture of his Dodge Viper that he like was very proud of. And he sounded like he was from back east, but he made Philly cheesesteaks.
Okay, you got my attention.
And oh my God. I mean, because it's kind of like a sub.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. But
dude,
like,
a good Philly, man. Whew.
I don't know what it was, but like it was like the meat with like cheese and like mushrooms, and like that was it. And then the bread was like wet somehow. I don't know if it was just oily from like
Yeah,
all the other stuff going
I
on. I don't think he dunked it because I know I've seen shows where they dunk it in like au jus or whatever. It was not that, but the bread was very oily, and it was just such a I mean, it just all mushed together. Sweet baby Jesus. I mean, that was so good. That was a sub.
Nice. All right, number 2, Starbucks.
Yeah, they got a good ass breakfast sandwich I've had before. So I ain't gonna. I mean, and again they do that. It's amazing what you put George Foreman, any kind of sandwich, and it's just better. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a toasted bread guy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And number 1 on this list is McDonald's.
And their fries are good.
I haven't eaten McDonald's food in 5 years.
I used to
4 years.
Chicken nuggets, so oh my god,
I can't do it, man. It was making me physically sick every time I ate McDonald's. I could, and it was only McDonald's, and it's their meat. I've had their fries. I haven't had McDonald's meat. My youngest is 8. Like I said, she was probably 4 or 5 years old the last time I had meat from McDonald's.
well, their fries allegedly they used to cook them in tallow, which was kind of like hell yeah. But then I heard they stopped doing that.
Right.
Which, they're the sad word because I mean, actual beef tallow to cook fries in, like lard, that's badass.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the high fat diet, I guess. I don't subscribe to the idea that fat is necessarily bad for you. So I just there are some fats that are bad. Food is bad for you.
Right.
Highly processed food, kind of like we're talking about. That's not good for you.
Right.
But fat in and of itself
is not necessarily bad. Let me throw out a blast from the past, something that I never ate until you introduced me to it. And you remember you had the cup, the Big Juan. Remember your Big Juan cup from Taco Time?
Okay, yes.
You used to drink water out of that big ass cup?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I do remember that actually.
And every time somebody says Juan, it makes me think of you. And if I see Big Juan, then I like damn near want to call you. Because I remember you had that Big Juan cup and you used to drink ice water out of it. And the thing was faded from going through the dishwasher so many times. But you had that Big Juan cup for what seemed like years. Yeah. And it was Taco Time. And I remember in my life, I had never had Taco Time. Like I remember driving towards Gresham. I'd always seen it. And it was like, for people who don't know what we're talking about, it was a taco joint that was a regional chain, maybe. I don't know if it was just Oregon and Washington, kind of like Burgerville.
Yeah,
it was like a white sign, and it said Taco Time, and it had this purple cactus on the sign.
Yeah.
And I remember driving by it, and this was before there was a lot of Taco Bells, and never had it. And then we started hanging out in the 90s, and you're like, let's go to Taco Time. And I'm like, never been there. And you were like, what the heck? What do you? I was like, I've never been to Taco Time. Went to Taco Time, and I probably spent $10. And back in the 90s, that's the equivalent of spending like $30.
Taco Time is expensive. There's no getting around it. But that crispy meat,
oh my god! And I remember I was like, oh my god, Taco Time is the bomb. I think they're out of business now. I haven't seen a Taco Time in 20 years.
I'm not sure.
But I remember you had that Big Juan, and that was what they called their drink. Everybody has a different name for their drink, and their large was called the Big Juan. And
Big Juan.
Oh, man. When I started looking at fast food restaurants, like I was thinking about the Big Juan. I'm like, how can I work this in to get the Big Juan in there? But I remember Taco Time, and I was like, man, Taco Time was the best.
Well, those crispy, I mean, because they basically like a tortilla and roll it up like a really long thin burrito, and then they would deep fry it.
Yes,
and it was so good, but it was so God blessed hot. I mean, dude, it was just nuke flavor, and you wanted to eat it, because you're hungry and you just get it, and it smells like freaking delicious because it's hot, fresh cooked like every time. So
Right.
you want to dive in, and that's a mistake. Um,
Oh wow, Taco Time is still around.
wow. I have no idea. I have not been there in a long, long time. No, I want one. I want some of all this right now. Damn, making me hungry.
Let's see here. Taco Time. It looks like there are some.
Near my
This,
location.
let me. Ooh, you can order. Let's take a look here. There's one. Oh no.
Is there one near you?
No, God no. But there's one near you. All right, through the magic of TV and all things.
Great, cool. You're gonna like get me going to freaking Taco Time.
Yes. All right.
Right.
Tell me when you can see that.
Look at see, they got a few of them spread about.
Look at this. Then there's just one little lone one over here.
Boy, no shit. Like we're trying to reach out.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Probably like at the airport or something, right?
50th and Powell temporarily closed. Barber Boulevard, Vancouver. Look, this is the one right here. The one you took me to. 122nd in division. It's still open.
I mean,
look at that.
They probably bought that place like so long ago.
Oh my God. That's less than a half an hour, 45 minutes for me. You could get there in 45 minutes.
Probably make it.
Oh, so good. Taco Time.
I already had one burrito today.
Next time I'm in Portland, I'm going to go to Taco Time, and I want to see if they still have the big one.
Nice.
Oh, man. I'm looking at the menu right now.
And I'm looking at the big one.
I'm looking at the crispy burrito.
So good. So good.
I'm looking at
it's like a chimichurri, but with meat.
Oh, so good.
Oh, by the way, apparently we were talking earlier about the old Nashville bomber. Apparently his manifesto dropped.
I told you there was going to be a manifesto. Remember? I told you.
Turns out he was loony.
I told you. I called it.
Dude, he's a crazy cookie guy. I mean,
Man, now I want some Taco Time.
Dude.
That's disappointing. I can't believe they're still around.
Like FedEx. FedEx burrito. You got an app?
All right. Next week, let's dig into this manifesto because I'm interested to see just exactly how.
Dude, he was just a nutty shitbird.
I just.
But yes, we'll dig into it. We should.
I just really want to see just how nutty he is, and
nutty enough to do that shit, man. I mean,
and why Fox News is not talking about it. I want us to see those two things,
man.
Because that's up their alley.
Could you imagine if his name would have been like Ahmad or something? I mean, I bet Fox might have covered it then.
Or Jamal.
Or Jamal, maybe. Yeah, they might have covered it then.
Yep.
I can't imagine why they're passing over it this time.
Oh my God. Burrito bowls, pork carnadas.
Dude, you're ready to take a quick little flight in. You're gonna be like, I don't care. I'm gonna make it. Although that one up in Chicago was probably closer to you. Just pop on over.
All this stuff looks so bad for you. Oh, I've been trying to eat better. Oh my God, it looks so good though.
What's your big New Year's resolution?
Because
you mentioned like trying to eat better. Mine's like try not to eat after 7 o'clock at night. That's my big. I figure if I set a pretty low bar, I can maybe accomplish it. If it's like, oh, I'm gonna lose 30 pounds. No, I'm not.
I've been trying to eat better for a while, which is why I cut out like a lot of fried foods and gravy and
you don't like it. So you do like gravy?
I just haven't had gravy in so long that I don't like it anymore.
I don't think you like it at all.
So like on Thanksgiving, like I got a big heap of mashed potatoes and they were like, do you want some gravy? And I was like, no. And like 4 people, like you heard the record, like people looked at me and I'm like, no.
What, I mean, dude,
like, can I have I'm like, can I have a little bit of butter? And I just put a little bit of butter on my mashed potatoes and kept it moving.
I don't even know how you eat that, but
I also eat my grits with just butter and sugar.
that's what I did when I was a kid.
Why does everybody say that? Oh, that's how I ate it when I was a kid.
It is. I mean, that's what I did. Now I just fry eggs and keep them runny and mix them in and nom 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 nom.
Here's the deal. God, why do I keep doing this to myself? I only eat egg whites now. Is that bad?
Do you not? Is that like a health thing, or do you just not like?
I don't like the yolk anymore.
Why? What changed? So you used to?
Yeah, I used to. It just hurts my stomach.
See, I don't think it does. I think you have a misdiagnosis.
When I eat eggs or when I eat anything dairy,
eggs are not dairy, by the way.
Well, okay. When I eat it, if I eat something with eggs on it, I will have like intense stomach pain for the rest of the day. Same thing if I drink milk.
Well, what else is in that thing that you're eating that has eggs in it? Is it just eggs, or is it eggs with like, I don't know, clam sauce and freaking,
Put it this way.
Biscuits.
Put it this way. If I go get a chicken biscuit with an egg and a slice of cheese and eat it, I'll feel awful. If I go get that same chicken biscuit with no egg, I don't feel awful.
What about if you just had like a couple of fried eggs and like some bacon?
Oh God.
And like a piece of toast.
I would not be pleasant to be around for 4 or 5 hours. Put it.
I think you've got extenuating digestive circumstances that you're wrongfully attributing to eggs, because
it's only when I eat eggs or I drink milk. Other than that, I'm fine.
I would say there's other things going on that if those were eliminated, that you would that you would be able to eat eggs and milk.
But if I have soy milk or egg whites, I'm fine. I had a Chick-fil-A biscuit.
I hear you. I'm just saying, because it's not just, it's a combination of all the things that are going into your tum-tum. So
if I sit down with scrambled eggs, or I used to love eggs over medium. That was my jam. Yeah, was eggs over medium. Yeah, and I couldn't do it. Yeah. Couldn't do it.
I still there. I like I say, I'm a big believer in the saturated fat. I don't believe that it's bad for you at all.
Just doesn't agree with my stomach. But like I said, today I had a Chick-fil-A sandwich with egg whites, and it was delicious.
I think there's other things that are effing with your stomach, and it's not the eggs. And I think there's a correlation that is not really there. So, but that's okay. You can just skip eating eggs and rock on.
There's a lot of stuff that I don't eat that makes people really upset. The hot sauce thing is like, some people won't talk to me. They're like, they just.
No, personally, some grits with a couple of eggs over medium, hot sauce, ham, bacon, sausage, take your pick, toast. I would eat that or a variant of that pretty much every day. I already do.
See, for me, it would be grits with a little bit of butter and sugar, maybe some brown sugar, and a glass of apple juice, and I'm good.
Just like when I was 7. I know. Saddle up with some fucking cartoons, baby. You're there.
But it's so good, though. It's so good.
It is. I would eat that too. It is
so good.
But I'm just saying. I like cereal. I eat cereal all the time.
I don't eat cereal anymore.
Dude, eating grits with sugar and butter is pretty much freaking cereal.
I can't do the milk unless it's soy milk. I can't do it.
You're eating cereal. Cereal is freaking corn. What the hell?
Okay. I haven't had any box cereal in years.
Dude, I could live off cereal.
Like Raisin Bran. I used to love Raisin Bran. I can't eat it. Can't do it. I also don't eat ice cream.
Hey, whatever. Gelato's a good substitute if you don't like ice cream. Which I mean, I don't know what kind of psycho doesn't like ice cream, but whatever. I
don't eat ice cream. I don't eat ice cream.
You don't eat it or you don't like it. If you don't eat it because you're trying to
it's not for health reasons. It's just because it gives me gas and it just hurts my stomach every time I eat it.
That's legit. No, I get that. I mean, that's fine.
Of course I like ice cream. I just don't eat it.
I mean, I don't like eating stuff that makes me, go, oh, goddamn. I mean, because, like it's 11 o'clock where I am right now, and I would love to go and eat like crazy, but I'm trying. My biggest thing is eating too late messes with me.
Right.
And if I have a hard shut off at 7 p.m., then that does wonders for even letting me sleep at night. But I am horrible with maintaining that idea, and I eat well past that 7 o'clock, and I'm a moron. I don't learn. I do it all the time, and it messes with me every time I do it. And I just someday I'll learn, maybe not.
Well, we could go on all night. We probably need to thank the viewers for watching this long. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Another episode of the Jamal and Joe Show. And please let me know in the comments if you are not necessarily approving of my culinary tastes, especially for those viewers in the South. I don't eat a lot of the Southern foods, and I think we've talked about that. But
that's like the only good thing about being in the South.
I can't do it, man.
I mean, maybe the sunshine, I guess, but.
And I prefer my chicken grilled over fried. Is that bad?
I like grilled chicken. Dude, I love grilled chicken.
Grilled chicken.
Like you get like the little small grill thing. Oh, I love grilled chicken.
Yeah, grilled chicken's good. I've got my little grill out back, and we grill chicken all the time.
And again, do you not like fried chicken, or is it just like fried chicken?
I actually don't. I actually don't like fried chicken
because like you mentioned KFC earlier, and like extra crunchy KFC, which is just all crunch. There's no chicken there.
Right. I actually don't like fried chicken.
That's why it's America, for you to be wrong, and that's okay.
See, I'm the guy you want to ban from Facebook, right?
No, you don't understand. I want to ban Facebook. I mean, all of you. Yeah, no.
I mean, and it's not like it. I mean, it probably should be for health reasons. I eat a lot of stuff that I shouldn't like. I love potato chips. Like I could eat like bags and bags of potato chips, and that's not good for you, but it doesn't hurt my stomach. So I don't.
Are you a plain potato chip fan, or do you start getting to like the nuclear mega orange explosion?
I'm pretty old school. Doritos.
That's what
Cool
I'm saying.
Ranch.
Right. We talked about like all
nacho cheese. And then we're basically
I'm talking like a plain old Lay's, like the yellow bag Lay's salty as F potato chip.
Yes. I will eat a bag of those.
Okay.
In our house, we call those gold chips. That's what my youngest calls them. Daddy, I want some gold chips.
Okay.
Because the bag looks gold to her at the time. We call them gold chips.
All right. Yeah. I usually just get crumbs. Like we'll have like 9 different bags of chips open, which is staggering. And I can hear my own mother like just bitching at me in the background, like, why you got 9 bags of chip open? But like all that's left is like crumbs in each one. You know what I mean? Like they get down to the part where like, we'll let daddy eat the rest of that.
Yeah.
And we'll just move on to the fresh new bag.
Right.
With nice, unmolested, untorn up.
Do you like Cheetos?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like Cheetos anymore. Doritos.
Doritos are delicious. I love Doritos. But again, the mega flavor ones kind of kick my ass sometimes. Sometimes it's like, Cool Ranch is a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
But then there's like Cool Ranch mega flavor, and you're like,
yeah, I'm not into that.
I mean, how much Cool Ranch do you need?
Sour cream and onion chips are always a big favorite with me.
What about the salt and vinegar?
Not a chance.
I was wondering about that one. I was like,
No
is that
way.
one? I was either like, he's gonna love the F out of these, or that's just gonna be like a stone wall.
Hard pass.
What,
Hard
really?
pass.
Come
Hard
on, man. It's a
pass.
chip. How do you? I mean, if you like chips, you just like chips. How do you not eat those?
I like certain chips. I'm picky, man.
You said like literally like every other chip out there has like been on the menu. I mean, and now suddenly
So if you go look like
vinegar, which is good by the way. It's like sour and tangy. That's
barbecue chips, like barbecue chips.
yeah. That's kind of like the vinegar. There's vinegar in barbecue sauce.
But see, what I do like vinegar-based barbecue though.
Glad you're totally consistent then.
If you ever come back here, I got to show you like all kinds of different barbecue because there's like all kinds of different barbecue and it's all so good. So that's the one thing I will eat any kind of barbecue.
No, that would be great. I mean, that would be
all right. Next week, I will do some research and I will tell you about all different kinds of Carolina barbecue, from North Carolina to South Carolina to Eastern to Western and all points in between. We'll talk some barbecue next week.
And why one is the best?
See, I don't know if I'm willing to go out on that limb because
that'll get the people in your front yard, huh?
Yeah, and here's I honestly, if you laid out all the types of barbecue right now, I would probably get a smorgasbord of all of them and put them all on the same plate.
Well, that's what I mean, honestly, you know, like when you see like all these different shows and stuff, I'm like, oh, dude, it all looks good.
It is all so good.
It all looks good.
But I'll eat it with potato salad and baked beans, but I will not touch coleslaw. Can't do it.
I can see where coleslaw can kind of be like, because like you're already eating so much stuff, and it's like, oh, here's some greens with mayo on it, and you're like, damn, can I just have some greens?
But I like mayonnaise. But I don't like coleslaw.
Seriously, like I don't know what. I at least you break stereotypes, I guess. So good.
Mayonnaise is good, but coleslaw is not.
That is a way to rephrase losing all of your cards. Is that you're just breaking stereotypes? So good job, even though that's gross.
Mayonnaise is good. Coleslaw is bad. Cabbage is just bad all around.
Dude, I mean, I'm supposed to like mayo, and I'm like, yee.
Dude, mayo is good.
Like in very, very small doses. So many people get so carried away with that shit. Like,
mayonnaise is good.
Dude, okay, quick. You eat tuna fish like a tuna sandwich?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. There's two types of people that eat a tuna sandwich. The people who do it wrong.
Oh, God. Here we go.
And then the people that dry out their tuna fish in the can and then they make their sandwich.
No, you get your tuna fish, you dry it out, you put it in the bowl, you get some mayonnaise, you get some relish.
And that's but the back that up a little bit. The initial drying out part.
Yes.
How much effort do you put into that? Do you just give it like a little upside down and you're good? Or do you actually put effort and you squeeze that?
No, you got to get all the oil and water out of it. You got to dry it completely out.
You can be reasonable.
Yeah. And then you put relish in it and a little mayonnaise, sometimes a little mustard if I'm feeling kind of spicy. You mix it up.
And that all sounds fine.
Yeah.
That all sounds fine.
You put mayonnaise on the bread, and then you put your.
No, see, you've already gone too far now. See, you get one mayonnaise. You either put the mayonnaise in the tuna, or you put the mayonnaise on the bread. You don't do both. Now you're over mayonnaise.
Yeah, you do both on both sides of bread.
Now you're bordering into the wife's territory of sloppy tuna. Because see, she doesn't do the initial drain very well.
Right.
It's kind of go and you've got this disgusting this soup, and then you add even more gross liquid to that of mayo.
You didn't let
me
this
slurry of fucking That's disgusting.
You didn't let me finish.
Really
so then you put mayonnaise on both sides of the bread. You get a slice of cheese, and then you put Parmesan cheese on top of the tuna.
Oh no! Oh, stop! My God,
Parmesan cheese.
Are you like Welsh or something? I mean, holy shit!
Parmesan cheese, so good.
Yes, Parmesan cheese is good
on your tuna fish
in proper applications. That ain't one.
Oh, so good.
Sweet shit and Pete. I mean,
sometimes you toast the bread, you put the mayonnaise on.
Where are you standing on Brexit? All right. So on next episode, folks, we're going to hear why Jamal Peterschmidt here is a big fan of the proper color of the British passport and fishing rights, and why the EU can fuck themselves because they don't do it properly like a good British person should. You're such an Anglophile. It's good to know.
Oh, you're gonna make me talk about bangers and mash next or something?
And how you fuck it up? I don't know. I mean, it's sausage and taties, and somehow you probably mess that up, I bet, right?
Oh, but I do love a good Monte Cristo. Oh,
I know. We talked about that. Remember at the restaurant that was whatever, south of Nordstrom's.
Yes, Red Coach. Monte Cristo is so good.
No, it was not Red Coach.
It was Red Coach. Yeah, Google it. It was Red Coach.
Place or whatever.
Yes, I promise you it was Red Coach. I promise. Look it up. I promise it was Red Coach.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for getting me kicked out of the South. I wasn't already kicked out, but
well, dude, actually, you're hating like the only good things about the South. Let's review like the only positive things about the South. It's sunny a lot, and there's good food. If you choose,
the cost of living is good.
None of the rest of it balances out. I mean, you've got those. You've got sunshine, and you've got good food,
and it's a great place to raise children.
I mean, you're just and you're already having to stay inside too much. I mean, you're losing out on just every positive thing about being in the South right now. I feel bad.
There's just
it's rainy and shitty and dark, and I can kind of console myself with not going outside because it's rainy, shitty, and dark. And, you know, I tell myself that. But
the good thing about the South is we have lots of wide open spaces. So we can go outside and not be near people and still have fun.
That I envy you. Because let me tell you something. Every outdoor enthusiast that has decided that, you know, they love Portland too.
All of a sudden, everybody in Portland wants to learn how to ride a mountain bike now, right?
Man, it's impossible to get away from people. It is impossible. It is impossible to get away. I mean, dude, like where I go bike riding is 45 minutes away from Portland.
Mm-hmm.
But because Portland loves its irony and you can only ride a bike if you don't rape nature in the butt by riding in the dirt. So if you ride your bike in town, blocking traffic, meandering along, that's good. If you ride your bike in the dirt, you just pounded my nature in the ass. That's bad. So Portland, no mountain biking. So everybody that does it in there has to come all the way out to here. And they all do. They're all fine with making that drive. And it's just staggering. I mean, you just can't get away from folks. So it's a bit of a bummer that way. I mean, again, if it was normal times, you know, it's fun because it's like, hey, other folks like this too. And I can, there's camaraderie and kind of, although some of them are dicks, but whatever. Because there is no, I mean, let's be clear, the mountain biking community is the same as the skiing community. It is it is the entitled white person community. And there is no place that a white person feels more entitled than in the woods recreating. Honestly, because when you're in the city as an entitled white person, you know, you realize that you're in the city and you have to check yourself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But when you make that effort to get out to the woods, well, by God, we're like Lewis and Clark now again, and we're on our God-given destiny to be out in the woods doing whatever it is that we do, and it's our right as Americans to go do this no matter what. And in the Rona times, that means piss off on making any effort to even acknowledge that this thing exists, and people are just going to do whatever they're going to do. And that's been a little disappointing, and sucks a little of the fun out of it.
Yeah,
that's all. And the real downer right now is that the last few times I've been up, or even all summer long, really, the phenomenon again. This is a specific trail system designated for riding your bicycle on.
Mm-hmm.
And because it is Portland in the metropolitan area, we can't explicitly say no to something because that would be unfair to somebody. So it is advised that you don't hike on these trails. But they don't outright tell you not to. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't outright say no hiking. They just say these are bike trails. So, of course, people hike on them.
And so you're biking up and down the trails, and here's some.
Well, no, that's the thing. You ride a road up, a paved road. You ride your bike to the top of the paved road, and then you ride down the trail. You don't ride up the trail. You only on this particular system. It's a downhill specific system. So you ride the road to the top. Everybody joins together to ride the road to the top, and then you ride the trail down. And the idea is that you're not supposed to ride the trail up, so that when you ride down, you have confidence that there's nobody in the way.
Right. Makes sense. Makes sense. So checks out.
You can zoom along because these bikes are capable of remarkable speeds over crazy terrain. I mean, back in the day, it wouldn't matter because your bike, you couldn't go very fast over this stuff. You would be picking your way along. And if somebody was walking or riding their bike up, you'd have plenty of warning because
the technology's advanced so much now that.
Yeah, I mean, you just plow over this stuff. And I mean, you're doing 20 to 25 miles an hour down a crazy rocky trail. And, but it's again with the idea that there's, if anybody's there, it's because they're going the same direction that you are. So you'll catch up to them, but you'll see it coming, or they're broken down on the side of the trail. But if the idea that they're like walking or riding their bike back up the trail is a bad news. And people do it mistakenly, like on their bike. Like I did it the very first time I went there. I was like, oh, right up the trail. And then I almost got killed 5 times in a row. And I was like, I feel like I'm doing it wrong. Do that again. Yeah, I feel like I'm really doing something wrong. But I mean, hikers here are just, I don't know. I mean, they're as entitled or more so than a bike rider here. I don't know. It's a real toss-up. It's a real challenge at that point of who's a bigger asshole. But yeah, it's not a fun mix to come flying down these trails, and then all of a sudden, a couple of folks that just drove out in their Subaru from Portland, and they're hiking the trail, and you're like, oh my God. I mean, because it's really messed up. Because I mean, it's just going to get somebody hurt. Because either somebody's going to get crashed into, or the bike rider is going to crash trying to avoid somebody.
Right.
I mean, it's such a bad situation. But
not a good situation.
But yet, the few times where I've actually stopped and gone and I've confronted people, I'm like, hey, this is not a hiking trail. And I've gotten such shit. Like, how dare I tell somebody what to do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm trying to save your dumb neck. And my own.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out, and you're giving me lip for doing this. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. I'm gonna wrap it up, and we will do this again.
This time, and we're getting real close to all the big party dates for all of the continuing election sagas. So
Absolutely.
we'll keep
So by the time we talk again next week, Joe Biden will have won again, and we'll be one step closer to January 20th.
Nice, exciting times.
Yep. All right. Hey, so what are we talking about next week? We're going to talk about the various types of Carolina barbecue.
Yeah, that's on the agenda, and whatever else happens between now and then. I'm sure nothing.
Sounds good. All right, man. I will see you.
Good night,
Thanks
everybody.
for watching the Jamal and Joe show.